didn't beat Hyperlight, so I don't know.
Secret of Mana came with a book that you had to get, a piece of paper you had to get wet, so you knew the code to get past, like, the end of it.
No shit.
There's like a number code that you need in the game, and to do it, you have to like dunk the piece of paper in water.
See, I never played it, so I felt like I missed out because everybody I knew loved it.
It was so good.
It was fucking top
And
3.
you could use the multi-tap on SNES to do 3-player co-op RPG hotness.
Oh.
Yeah, and you got to
It
play
was
as
so
Mike,
good.
and Mike had a yo-yo as your weapon.
Wait,
No, that
are
was
you
the
talking about
secret
Earthbound, dude?
No, that's Ness. Secret of Mana, you're Mike, I thought.
map. No.
No, get out of here.
You had
Who are
Sprite,
you with your
had
Super NES minis? You coming at me with yo-yos and Secret of Mana?
No, you had a dragon named Flammy because it had
Flammy.
2 M's in it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Star Tropics.
I wonder
Yeah,
what's
okay.
inside this giant cave in front of me.
There we go. Thank you.
There
Thank
we
you.
go.
Bring it back. Glad hammer.
Investigate.
Alright, so last time a strange, we'll just call him a rust knight, an old weathered looking holy knight appeared in this dark haunted forest that several of you had been traveling through, following a map of very, very poor direction that you got back in West Ham when you were in town there from someone you might have to have a few words with at some point. You also spotted a strange, sort of shrouded, very thin, muscular female, but hooded, kind of in the dark there. You saw her mixing some reagents that she had gathered up in the forest, and she kind of licked a few to her lips and got this very dark, sickly look to her face, even more so than the foul stench that was sort of emanating out from this night. And she kind of just disappeared into the shadows of the haunted forest, possibly to go let her stomach's contents out on the forest floor, or to sneak back off to wherever she was going to. But
You can go have a snack.
nonetheless, she vanished just as quickly as you met her. So sad. The rest of you, we'll just say the two dwarves, even though one of them is a much larger, more barbaric looking half-dwarf, kind of bears some features, dominant dwarf features, naturally, strong as the dwarf genes are, but a bit taller, somewhere between like a human and dwarf sized. Him and the other dwarf, apparently related in some form from their little bits of conversation, were sort of pushing and prodding and lifting up this Rust Knight, asking him what the hell he was talking about when they inadvertently dropped him in the center of the forest floor. There was a loud rumbling, shaking, lots of overgrown branches, vegetation kind of parted, and all of the dirt on the ground just sort of shook and resettled, revealing this almost landing area that looks to be like this main grand entrance into some old, lost, forgotten temple. The very same one that you believe you were trying to find while following your map. And there's just the dank smell pouring out from this open entrance that stands before you. For whatever reasons any of you are here, the place seems to almost be inviting you in at this point.
Well, let's not tarry any longer.
I just walk in.
I think we should go in. I think this got the right idea.
Lorenzo snaps up quicker than before. Halfman, you should not take such haste to go into this place. An old wizard owns this area, and you shouldn't go in so quickly.
I look at the knight and I say, and I continue walking in.
Okay.
You may have been giving me good advice, but dude, my guy is a barbarian. He knows nothing, Jon Snow.
All right. Lorenzo tries to pick up the pace, and he gets up on his feet, and he tries to trot over to them to try to protect them as they enter into the door.
Okay. Is anybody else objecting, saying their piece?
No,
Well, I mean, that's why I'm here. I've got to find all the things, so let's do it.
Halfman, what's with this flaming salamander by the doorway? Why are you not attacking this beast?
I'm sorry, but who the hell are you referring to as a half-man?
I mean you no offense, but you are literally half my height and a man.
No, I mean, are you talking... Look around you. There's 2 dwarves and there's a
You are all short in
What are you
stature,
talking
my good dwarf.
I turn around, but I can't use my neck. I use my whole body to turn because I'm so big.
Why is there a floating, flaming salamander by the doorway? Why are we not attacking it?
Are you referring to me?
That's my charge. I revived him from the brink of death.
Why would you revive a foul beast of the forest?
Yeah, I don't know.
All of Crexus's creatures deserve compassion. Even this fiery, flame-licked one.
I was sent here.
I smile.
I was sent here to protect the town of West Ham against monsters such as this.
He's not a monster. He's my friend.
And where are you from that people befriend flaming lizards?
I hail from a place far north called Pumpkin Town. It's called Pumpkin Town, and surprisingly, there are absolutely no pumpkins there.
Dude, where's the name come from?
The town got named that because one time, a couple years ago, there was a guy named Ugly Sam. And he cut a hole in a pumpkin and he was doing horrible things to it.
They named that.
I said, no, Sam. He said, we should call this place Pumpkin Town. And I said, okay, let's call it that. And that's
So
how
the-
this town got the name.
The residents of the town may not refer to it as Pumpkin Town. That's just sort of your pet name for
It's
it.
my nickname. for
Okay,
it.
okay.
Yes, the revered Pumpkin Town. Everyone knows about the story of old Dirty Sam and what he did to that pumpkin.
He's a naughty man.
He is a naughty man.
I straightened him out with my cudgel.
Nobody goes to Pumpkin Town. Everyone just kind of takes the side paths around it.
As they're all communicating outside,
makes
I
sense.
don't mind them. I don't pay them any mind. And Rex just walks in.
Okay.
As-
As
Oh, he's walking in. Let's go.
As does Gladhammer.
just a quick sort of before this happened question. Pustus, Lord of Pumpkin Town, you have access to all of your rotes from your last communion with your god, and you also have 2 of your level 1 spells that you can have prepared.
Is it dark? Is it dark in the cavern?
It would be a little bit dark, yeah, as you sort of
I'm
step
going
in.
to use the Rote of Light.
Okay. What 2 spells do you have? Did you ask your god for on this day?
Light.
Well,
And-
lights. All the rotes are free.
Oh,
2 level 1s, yeah.
I thought I wrote it down on my sheet. Hold on.
Maybe you did.
Petition suffering, right? Isn't that one?
I think that's more
Oh, no.
of just like how your god works.
Cure light wounds,
Okay.
and I think it's divine guidance. I don't know. Somebody wrote dwarf here too, and that's not true or accurate.
Learn Dwarf. Use the spell of Dwarf.
Dwarf is not a spell.
In Pumpkin Town
Dwarf
it
is
is.
definitely.
Not with that attitude.
I think that's what he cast on the.
You've
I don't know,
got-
I'll find the other one. And I'll put it on
Okay.
the sheet.
All right.
Sorry, shit, I
Hold
need
it
more
up.
water.
Let's... Oh shit.
All right, Lorenzo, sensing the party going ahead, pushing ahead, cries out, "Fire Beast, what name do you go by?"
My name is Gnarl.
This
I like
This-
that voice.
this man from Pumpkin Town seems to know you well, so I shall befriend you. Nothing.
He saved my life.
He's really all right. You just gotta give him a chance.
Although people avoid Pumpkin Town, nothing terrible ever came from that place. So I trust you as well, Halfman. And then Lorenzo kind of pushes to the front. Allow me to lead the way, as I was charged by my holy order to protect this place.
By all means, go ahead.
To protect this place. Why this place?
I like that. I like the slithery.
I know it's good. My holy order did not specify, but it is my charge. I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? You don't know if it's your holy order?
It is not up to me to question the orders, the orders of my people. I just follow them.
All right, go ahead.
All right, Lorenzo takes out his shield and his sword, and he kind of like cautiously moves forward.
Okay.
Wonder what kind of stone they use inside this temple.
Well, as you enter, you see it's this very old, sort of almost dark brick. So clearly man-made in this portion of the entryway that you're stepping into here. The ceilings are about 7 feet high. And even the floor itself is paved with these dark bricks. And as you look up down this corridor, you see almost like a cross-like shape on each side ahead of you. A hallway opening up to the east and to the west, we'll say. Just wherever direction we are, for the sake of description, we'll just say, you know, looking from a top down. To the right is east, left is west. You also see what appears to be a bit of a staircase kind of descending down below, deeper into the darkness, up ahead to the north.
That's cheap workmanship. If I had a couple of dwarves, we could really shape this place up.
Can I discern whether or not anyone's been here recently?
Oh, so you'd like to discern realities?
I'd love to.
Okay.
Is that a spell?
So the way discern realities works, no. So
you discern.
I got 11 realities.
okay, hold on.
Cost him anything.
There's going to be a little bit of explainy, the gamey type sort of bullet points as we go, since we're kind of want to get up to speed. So everyone's got access to several sort of pools of abilities. The ones that everyone share are the basic moves and the special moves. Discern realities is basically the equivalent of examining stuff. And the right way to approach anything, just like any game I run, is to try to describe what you want in a narrative form, and I will try to point you to the thing that matches that. Obviously, knowing what the moves are, knowing what your class moves are, which is the third source, is a good way to kind of, fuel ideas, but still try to pitch it in terms of narrative. So the way discern realities work, if you roll above a 10, such as Pustis here, you get to ask me 3 questions from the list below. If you had rolled a 7 to 9, you only get 1, and if you had rolled a 6, you fail. And just a reminder, and I need you guys to keep track of this, when you roll a 6 or lower and you fail, you gain a point of experience. You learn from your mistakes.
That's right.
But in either case...
That's cool.
How do you track that?
Okay.
So maybe on your, let's see what we have on the character sheet here.
There was a field for that.
Yeah, me too. Maybe let's just use hero points, because that's like, nothing you can kind of.
Cool.
Yeah, so you can just click that box and type a number to like change that.
Are you sure I get 3 questions? It looks like the rule says on 7 to 9 you ask 1 question.
On 10 plus you get to ask 3.
Yeah,
oh, that's
the
the roll. That's the roll.
Yeah.
Oh, not your level. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, exactly.
Pustis bends down at the ground. He's using his index finger for his light rope. So he's pointing down at the ground and kind of peering at the kind of cobbled, this dark brick that you've described. He thinks aloud to himself. I wonder if somebody's been through here recently. I don't know if what happened here recently?
So while you're you kind of like almost like your token, you've got the light or on your finger, and you're sort of like examining the room, waving it around.
Like E.T.
Yeah, perfect. It appears that no one has been here in many years, as if you all are the first people to step through this corridor in a very long time.
New friends and companions. No one has been here recently.
This doesn't make any sense.
Did you segue that into a second question, Pustus? Sorry, I'd interrupt there.
Calendar's real.
I thought Pustus had sort of asked 2 questions. I wasn't sure.
I'm looking around and I'm thinking to myself, what should I be on the lookout for?
So, as you kind of feel like you could pace the hallway a little bit with your light and kind of get insight into that question as the thought rises into your mind. And as you kind of pace about the corridor, let's say, your intuition leading you in this direction, you feel like, based on the rumors you heard back in West Ham, that this place is rumored, if it is the very place you were trying to find, to be a man-made, constructed, almost base of operations for two of the probably most famed adventurers, most wealthy adventurers in the lands around West Ham. The Unknown Wizard, which many kind of like mock this sort of nickname he took, and Fearsome Fergus, like a crazy warrior that they described. You had heard from some of these rumors that this mage was very untrustworthy, and you can fathom that the shrouded character who was in your company just moments ago but disappeared may have been useful, because you can assure yourself that this place is probably loaded with all kinds of traps and treachery.
Friends,
about right.
This is the home base of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds and Fearsome Fergus.
I hate you so much right now.
My pumpkin molesting friend, please step back. I know you don't believe that anyone's been here, but I know for a fact that just last week I saw many people coming to this place.
I did not molest that pumpkin.
It sounds like the Rust Knight's spouting some lore about what he knows. So go ahead and spout that lore with the dice roll.
Oh, jeez.
Sounds like you're running your mouth off with lore.
I am running my mouth off. It's an average roll.
Ooh, okay, so spout lore again. You know, there's going to be a few of these sort of out of character moments while we learn the game. Spout lore is basically you playing your character, trying to describe what your character thinks and knows, and you get to consult your accumulated knowledge about something. So on a 10 plus, I will tell you something interesting and useful about this subject that you're talking about. On a 7 to 9, I will only tell you something interesting. It's on you to try to make it useful. And I might ask you how you know this, and you elaborate, blah, blah, blah. So basically, spout lore, anytime you want to search your memory, your character's memory, for knowledge or facts about something. And you take a moment to ponder those things, you know, about, like, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So that's the idea, okay? So Lorenzo was talking about how you... Could you reiterate for us in character?
My pumpkin raping friend. I'm familiar with these areas. I was charged to guard West Ham, and this is one of the places where I see many powerful wizards coming and going. We should take care while entering this place, as there are plenty of people here.
So I will ask you out of character in a freeze time moment here, just because I'm still getting up to speed, and none of your characters know this, but we're just going to do it openly. Lorenzo, when was the time before you were disappeared? How many years ago?
Bungy's done.
It's like 120 years ago or something.
120-ish? Okay.
Yeah. When West Ham was first getting created.
You know that many adventurers explored the haunted forest, one because there was a never-ending stream of rumors about something strange in the forest, causing the dead to not stay dead. And there was a lot of adventurers who were seeking fame and glory, trying to make their name, in the sense that they were dealing with this. And you are under the impression that these haunted woods were always, you could almost always find brave adventurers traveling from the new town of West Ham to explore this region.
Okay.
Okay.
You should step back. We should tread lightly.
There is too much concern. And I'm gonna trek ahead.
Ooh, okay.
Wait!
Half-men, you know not what you do.
I hate it when he does this. Rex, come here.
You can
They said
kind
to be
of
traps.
you can kind of see a landing that's sort of leading down to a strange shaped room, down a pretty steep flight of stairs. But more interestingly, as you step into this sort of this corridor crossroad, this little cross shape here, to the west, you see a stone bas relief carving of an armored warrior slaying a large giant, just completely encompassing the wall to the west here, like sticking out of the wall on that side, like kind of like that.
What was it?
It's a stone relief carving of a fearsome armored warrior slaying a giant with his sword. And you're kind of taking in, yeah, it's this huge, like from floor to ceiling, 7 feet, this huge relief. And you're taking all of this in when Pustis's light, and honestly the ambient light from the flaming salamander.
Hey, do I give off light like a torch?
I would think you give off a dim light, yeah.
Nice, 30 feet.
Well, more like I'd say more
10 feet.
Hey, back up there, buddy. I'd say more like 7 to 10 feet. But it's more of like a really dim glow. It's not you would still trip over rocks and things like that. Other people around you.
Is that something I can control? Because if I was trying to sneak up to somebody at night, I wouldn't want to be a beacon in the forest. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we can talk. We can talk about that. Before you charge ahead, Rex.
Cracking my neck.
You're all staring at this one statue, and notice that the dim light from the salamander is revealing to the eastern wall. We'll do this. Oops. Won't let me do the thing. There is an additional, very similar in design, although you could tell it was done by a different sculptor. This is a carving of a robed, hooded wizard with intentionally sculpted so that no face is visible. It's just sort of a drawn hood revealing nothing but the lower part of the face, and hands full of sculpted stone fire.
Wait a second, fellas. I think these might be the two people whose hangout we're in. The
I put my
unknown
hand
wizard,
to his lips.
player unknown's wizard, and fearsome Vargas.
Halfman, you are correct. This is a well-known story. Everyone knows this.
Well, I did it. I wonder how grating this voice is gonna get.
Pretty bad.
I put my hand to the lips of the fire wizard's lips and discern realities to see if this relief carving might be a secret passage. Or magical.
I'm gonna
with a
come
message.
take a look at the stonework because I'm very good at telling
I am
things about stone.
Maybe it holds a message. Who knows?
Okay, one second. I lost my my map.
God damn
It's a
it.
great time.
Never mind. I'm
damn.
following my brother.
There we go. Thank God.
Half brother.
He's got no time for art.
Loading. Sorry, my whole
Oh,
game
it
client
comes with the
just
territory.
totally melted. Okay, that was fun.
Meanwhile, Lorenzo puts his hands
Okay,
on the
sorry.
sculpture.
Brief out of character thing because I'm too lazy to type whisper messages. Lorenzo, you would know absolutely nothing about either of these famous characters that everyone's talking about.
Okay, he continues to brush his hands over the sculptures and ho-hums.
Okay. So, I will pivot to Gnarl. You are examining the wizard statue.
Mm-hmm.
And, sorry, what you were doing a little, you're examining it, like for any sort of traps or secrets. sort
or
of thing?
magical
Okay.
messages that are hidden within
Beautiful.
it or anything.
Like, how are you examining it?
By running my hand over important parts of the statue
Okay.
and doing and channeling the inner magical feeling that I get when
Ooh,
I
interesting.
invoke magic.
Make a discern realities check for me, please.
Oh,
Snake
boy.
eyes? Okay.
You fondle his genitals and then continue.
As you sort of caress parts of
Usually
the
this
statue,
works.
you can't help with the fire burning inside of you is immediately drawn to the sculpted fire in this wizard statue. And as you run your warm, hot, clawed hands over this stuff, the sculpted flame almost comes to life for a moment, and you feel like had anyone else been the one to trigger this, they would have burned. But you yourself manage to sense what's coming, having the fire be sort of just an innate part of who you are, and you pull back just in time to avoid like the tiny little spout of flame that sort of springs up from the sculpted flame in his hands.
Would that really have bothered him if he got caught on fire, being a
If it's
fire
magical
wizard?
fire, yes.
If it's magical, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Heed my words, brethren. This place is full of danger.
There's a trap here.
Dwarves.
A trap!
Dwarf fortress on the staircase. What are you guys do? You looking down into? So this.
Fortress.
I had to, you know, my upbringing around bears so much, I had to learn how to compete with them for finding food, and so I want to use. And bears are known to have some of the best sense of smell on the planet. To be exact, 2,100 times better than a human's sense of smell.
Wow, it sounds like you're spouting lore there. So why don't you go ahead and let's see if that's true.
Okay. Yeah. How do I do that? What's that?
You can just
Two
roll
sixes?
2d6. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate to ask this question.
It's plus
No, yeah,
intelligence.
I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
yeah.
There you go.
Oh.
Well, so go
Everything
on
you
and
said is
tell us all these truths that you know about bears.
So, as I'm sniffing, as a bear sniffs for candy in a tent, you know what I mean?
Are you
I'm
on all
sniffing-
fours?
I'm squatting down. I'm running my hand. I'm disrupting the sand to hope that I waft some smell of blood or fur or something alive or
Okay.
death is what I'm looking for. Those are do I get the,
Something
those are the-
alive or dead.
you know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
is there rotting carcasses? Are there like what's down here? Is
I
this,
got
like,
you.
layers
I
of
got you.
beasts?
So yeah. So on top of just sharing some of your vast knowledge of bears, you're also channeling some of their abilities in your own experiences in the wild, and just trying to really just take in the dank, sort of untampered smells wafting through this cold underground lair. And trying to see what you smell. Is that correct?
Yeah, that was a way better pitch.
Okay.
I'll better do it next time.
All right. Well, in that case, my friend, we need to follow that up with a discern realities check.
Okay. I saw good old what's his lips do it?
Pustus?
Pustus.
Pustus.
It's like Eustace. with a
Okay, I see
P.
it now. I see it. Okay. Oh, that's not how you... Okay, oops. How do I drag the it down to my time bar? Is there a way to... Or my little time... The bottom bar?
Okay, so there's one thing about this. Are you trying to drag, like, the actual skill?
Yeah. So that I can just click the button.
Let me see if you can.
Okay. I
If
wasn't sure if I
if you click, like, the little shield, the little button next to the name,
could.
there's a dice string.
Oh.
I don't know if you can maybe...
Oops, well... there it is.
So...
I see what you're doing.
Yeah, I don't know if that works. It might be easier just to do the button for
Yeah,
now, or
it's all
just
good.
do 2d6 and, like, I mean, it's so easy to add just the +1 or +2. Or
I was just
whatever.
saying because I'm using a Steam controller, that makes sense
Yeah.
though. The
Oh, yeah.
works fine.
Okay, well, you had an 8. Although I don't know if that auto adds your bonus. Let me see. Your wisdom is 0, so okay, that is right for you. But with an 8, you may ask one question as you take in these scents. Do you have that list? It's
The
kind
list?
of like there's
no.
for discern reality. So it's basically
I'll
you
pull
can
it up, I'll pull it up.
you can frame your question within one of those things or something similar, basically.
Okay. I see the list.
Okay.
I already see the thing. It's on the wiki, right?
Yeah. Like I like the way you just kind of like just quickly type dis re and it'll pop up real fast.
Okay. What should I be on the lookout for?
Okay. So as you
yeah. I'll pitch
Okay.
it better next time. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. You get the sense that there's this unsettling odor, and you're not sure if it's coming from Lorenzo or from the place itself. But ever since you arrived at this place, there is some sort of like almost festering decay, just trailing about within these corridors.
Festering decay.
You can't place it at the moment, but
Festering decay. Is there another word I could use? What's another word other than decay that means that you would say I smell?
rot.
Composition.
Rot.
Okay.
Rot is a good one.
Yeah.
I turn to Glad and I say,
Foul.
Say,
Smells like foul food.
I smell rotting.
Oh, you smell rotting, eh?
If
Alright.
Lorenzo could, he
And then I
would
spit.
sweat bullets.
Hey, boys, we're getting a smell over here. Something smells a foul.
As Gladhammer, as you head near the larger mohawked, and I'm just gonna call you Dwarf because it's easier. Dwarf looking character. You notice that the stairs that he's standing at the top of kind of lead down into this strangely shaped room. And while this room, this corridor, this crossroads that you've sort of been in here, this cross shape, is this dark brick, you notice that down below where the stairs led out, they led out to this strange mosaic tiled floor. You can't really see what the ceiling is. If you imagine like you would be going down into a basement, like you'd be going down under the ceiling into some deeper level, about 12 feet down into this like tiled mosaic floored room up ahead of you. And as you look in, it almost has the shape of an octagon.
A squared circle.
Exactly.
Low poly.
Halfman, please allow me. And then Lorenzo kind of pushes forward with his shield up.
As he pushes forward, I kind of like look over my shoulder and follow him with my eyes, but kind of squinted like Clint Eastwood, kind of like, who the fuck do you think you are? Kind of a look.
I don't know who the fuck that guy thinks
Stone
he
cold.
is.
Come on, Gnarl. Let's stay safe in the back.
I'm here to protect you all. And then Lorenzo puts his shield up.
I would like to take a look at the steps and see if their craftsmanship is faulty at all.
These are not standard stair markings.
Dude, you are quite the mason.
Is that
Well, I mean, the family mine. You know, I am a dwarf.
A
As
dice?
are you, brother.
You're a dice miner, though.
Wait, do we know we're brothers yet, though?
Yeah, I mean, we found out a long time ago.
Okay, then all right.
Do dice miners know about stairs?
I'm sorry, who's a dice miner?
You're a dice miner.
I don't know what you're talking about,
You
man.
revealed it to me.
So
I don't know what you're talking about.
Gladhammer, are you really examining these things deeply, or are you just kind of like appraising them as you walk down, like into the?
Not appraising them.
Criticizing?
I mean, yeah, he's criticizing them. He's totally judging them as harshly as he can
Judging
in his
them.
mind.
There's gonna be a level of shitty to very shitty.
Okay.
I mean, on Dwarvish alone, there are over 4,000 words for stone.
Okay.
It's a shitty stone.
And this
You're,
is shitty stone.
You're commenting on the shitty stone, almost blindly pushing past everyone else, and you make it down to the bottom of the steps, and you look into this room, this tiled floor, and you notice that in the dead center of the floor, the mosaic tiled shape forms what appears to be a large mouth in the center of the room, kind of just dead center of the room.
A large mouth?
Yep, and as you take the last step off the stairs, as you're looking back, commenting on the shoddy craftsmanship, there's almost a slight, I don't want to say like a shake, but like almost like a quick shimmer as the room sort of reverberates, and there's this, "Who dares to enter the fearsome lair known as Zalvrix?" Whatever the fuck is.
I don't know the name of Zalvrig.
And you're saying this as you realize that the very tiles of the mosaic floor themselves animated and came alive, pronunciating every syllable of that sentence before going back into a mouth shape.
Like Zordon.
Oh, well, that's a bit fancy.
Lorenzo grabs Gladhammer by the scruff of his neck and pulls him back onto the stairs and puts his shield up.
Let go of me.
I rush to his aid, and I don't apprehend, but I put my hand on Lorenzo as well.
All right.
To separate them.
I'm here to help you. Use my shield, and he puts his shield up.
Okay. What would you like to do, the rest of you? The floor is no longer animated.
I call out to Lorenzo. You're here to protect this. Is this the thing you're protecting?
I'm here to protect you, fool.
From what?
I know not what this thing is, but it's no good for us. We should use caution.
Excuse me. And he taps the floor with his hammer, like the shaft
tile
with his
part?
hammer. We are just humble adventurers who stumbled upon this room, mighty room. If you could kindly point us in the direction to continue forward, that would be fantastic. Oh, by the way, my name is Gladhammer. Nice to meet ya.
Okay. And you're doing this from the safety of the stairs?
Yeah. But he's like tapped the tile floor with his the butt of his mace, kind of thing.
Almost, you can't quite get a read on the static floor, as the mouth does not animate and does not reply to your very noble introduction.
Oh, you're fine. You're gonna be like that.
What kind of witchcraft and wizardry is this?
I don't know, but it said something as soon as I put my foot on it.
Lorenzo palms the Ouroboros around his neck and then tries to discern if the thing in front of him is evil or not.
Ooh, okay. That's one of your innate God-given prayer abilities.
God gave it to me.
Whatever, God.
Which ability is that?
It's like discern evil or something. I basically pray. I like pray, and you have to tell me if it's evil or not. Just kidding, I'm making it up. No, it's a
Paladin
thing.
starting moves. Oh, is that the racial? Yeah, human paladin. When you pray for guidance, even for a moment, and ask, "What here is evil?" I must tell you honestly. I would like to hear this prayer to the Ouroboros a bit more in detail, if you would.
Lorenzo grabs the effigy around his neck, and then closes one of his eyes as the other eyelid is fallen off completely, and he kind of mutters to himself, I know not what this thing is in front of me, but please give me guidance, O Ouroboros. Tell me if this thing is evil or not. Will this thing harm me?
You feel a slight warmth with your amulet in your hand, and you sense no ill will in the room or the surrounding corridor at the moment.
Lorenzo lowers his shield slightly and starts to walk into the room.
What is this witchcraft?
Gladhammer's gonna bang the shaft even harder. Hello!
So
Gentlemen,
Lorenzo, you're
this thing
pushing
means
past.
just slightly walking forward a little bit. I don't believe this thing means us any harm.
What thing? This room is a thing?
It is. Best you not tap it with the butt of your axe anymore.
As far as I
This,
can tell,
my
you're all
fine
still
sir,
sort of
is a
huddled
hammer.
on this steep stairwell, just examining the room from there.
Oh,
Uh,
sorry. I thought I was in the room. I'm down the stair. I'm moving
Yeah.
Pushing
down
past?
towards Glad.
I move cautiously down the stairs.
Okay. The moment Lorenzo or Rex, whoever gets there first, the moment you plant both feet on the mosaic tile, you once more hear in striking similar tone, pitch, etc. Who dares to enter the fearsome lair known as Zalavrix?
Oh, he got his name right.
I'm gonna say that I was just going to Glad, so I'm gonna assume Lorenzo touched it first.
All right. It is I, Lorenzo de Cordona. Perhaps you've heard of these lands. What are you doing here, oh floor of wonders?
Once more, there is not a single reply, and the floor looks to be static.
I require aid. Can you help me? And then Lorenzo takes a knee.
Does anybody hear that music?
In
All right,
that
Gemma.
faint thing in my ear. Yes, I hear it, brother.
Speaking to us.
What are you all doing? What would you like to do here?
Lorenzo is taking a knee and asking for help.
Okay.
Blindly.
Gladhammer's gonna go look at the wall.
Gladhammer, how are you looking at the wall? I need.
Well, I'm running my fingers
I need a
right
little bit of
across
pitch.
it.
Okay.
I walk up to it, running my fingers across it, and I'm kind of like taking it off and kind of looking at it, smelling it with a
While
little lick.
now that you're in the room, running your hands along the wall, you notice that the walls are actually wood paneling in the room here.
Fancy.
It's not stone.
Not stone at all.
Wow,
Wood
wood
paneling.
paneling. You really expect this place to last any length of time at all? I swear. If this
And
were...
yeah, he's grumbling and mumbling and just running his hand along the wood paneling, making his way around the perimeter of the room. Roll discern realities check. And you just cannot get over how awful the design choice was to go from dark stone corridor to tiled mosaic floor with floor to ceiling wood paneling.
I mean, really, who uses
Really?
wood this day? This is an age for stone.
Regardless, you notice as you make your way towards the north end of the room, another sort of landing and just sort of steep stairwell that leads out of the tiled room.
Oh, hey guys, there seems to be more stairs.
Before I head over there, I really want to sniff Lorenzo, like animals do in the woods, to see how healthy that they are. To make sure that they are.
Okay.
I want to see.
Okay, yeah,
He's very odd to me.
Yeah, you can't make heads or tails about where this stench is coming from, and there's a part of you that's fixated on it possibly coming from this shrouded, rusted-looking knight. Yeah, go ahead and make another discern realities check as you try to take in his odor.
As the odor is being taken in,
Success
Lorenzo
with cost.
steps up onto his feet and like just a waft of stench like erupts off of him.
That's another burp from the beer we had earlier.
You, Rex, have taken in a good whiff of foul air. You can ask a question from the discern realities list, or in this case, just ask something out of your own design or thought process.
What is he? He doesn't smell human to me.
He smells human, but he doesn't smell quite right. And you think for sure a lot of this foul smell that you've been noticing is coming from him.
Oh God, he's that smelly.
Yeah, he's like either this guy hasn't bathed in a year, like, and this is
Okay,
even
good.
to you, it's bad, and
Okay.
you don't smell great. I wouldn't think.
Okay.
But that's
Yeah.
for you to
And I
decide.
can tell the
Something
difference.
smells stinky.
I smell musky. It smells great to some people, depending on if you like pheromones and fucking masculinity.
Yeah.
Can't say that with a straight face.
As the rest of you step down off the stairs into this tiled mosaic room and enter one after the other, anytime a person touched down onto the tile, this thing repeated the same phrase every single time, like an annoying, like dinging noise as someone opened a store door.
What's the phrase again?
Well, I'm gonna walk right.
Who dares to enter the fearsome
Wait, it's a
lair known
hole.
as Zalavrix? It's not a hole.
Oh.
It's a mouth.
It doesn't open up.
No. It's a in the mosaic design of tiles. It's a mouth that literally is animating and coming to life and speaking this phrase in the floor. The tiles are reshaping where the colored pieces are in the mosaic to form an animated mouth in a very strange, bizarre fashion.
I dare enter, mouth. I am Eustace.
Yeah.
I am Eustace of Pumpkin Town. I mean no ill will to this great sanctum of these two wonderful heroes. We are merely here because we stumbled upon the door. Please take pity on us.
Share him the pumpkin story.
Well, I came from a place called Pumpkin Town, and you know there was this guy there. They called him Stupid Randy. No, Stupid Randy cut a hole in a pumpkin and did dirty, nasty things.
Wait for Stupid Randy to be like.
He's like a fucking the
Alan Moore's
boss.
Pamphlets.
Yeah. It's really Pusis who did it all.
Hey, he's got a magic pumpkin.
That's what I call when I have my bad feelings come back. I call it Stupid Randy.
All of you have had a very therapeutic session talking to this mosaic tiled mouth in the floor, who seems to care not about you or your stories or introductions, but it still seems intrigued about why you're here, apparently. And it has, at least for one thing, confirmed that you are indeed in the lair known as Zalavrix, which is where your map was originally supposed to lead you.
Lorenzo walks to the center of the room, right on top of the mouth, and looks down towards Rex. Rex, how do you feel about this craftsmanship? And then as he says that, he kicks down with the heel of his boot and smashes one of the tiles.
Ooh, okay. Go ahead and just roll 2d6 and add your strength.
Where's that? Strength is +1, 14 +1.
Nice.
Plus a
Okay,
10.
10. You chip and remove several of the tiles. They sort of skip and move along the ground where they popped out, and about a moment later they just magically go back into the, we'll say, sockets of where they were sort of laid down into the floor when they poured the whatever the hell it's called.
What say you, Gladhammer? And then Lorenzo keeps kicking violently at the floor.
If he disrupts another one, I want to grab it and hold it up in my hand and inspect it.
Okay.
I don't know. Let me take a look at this.
You're repeating the process then?
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep stomping down on the floor.
Okay. Gladhammer, make a dex check. So 2d6 plus your dex bonus. Woo!
Nailed it.
At the last moment, you manage to scramble along the ground and grab one of these tile pieces. One of them part of the colored pieces of tile that made up the shape of the mouth. You hold it in your hand and immediately sense some sort of magical enchantment upon the tile. You notice that it's not being chipped at all. It's really just being loosened from the grout that it was set in. And there's almost like you're trying to hold it in your hand. It's trying to pull back into its home, basically, and rip free from your grip. You feel like you can hold it for a moment before you'd have to almost struggle to keep it in your palm.
Yeah, I'm gonna let it go. It seems to be magically enchanted, so it seems. I mean, I don't think it's worth taking any of it. It may be worth trying to dig through that cheap-ass wood paneling over there. But there's nothing here in the tile itself. It's just magically enchanted.
Lorenzo looks over towards Gnarl. Perhaps you could shed some light on this situation, and then if he could wink still, he would be winking under his helmet.
You should see his helmet do this.
Yeah.
All pantomime.
Yep.
He's but a scratch.
So what are you trying to do here?
I want him to light the wood paneling or the ground on fire.
There's no wood paneling on the ground. It's on
It's on
where
the walls.
the tile ends on the walls, and then the octagonal walls are lined with this wood paneling.
I basically want to assault this room and see if it will react to us just trying to destroy it.
You know, one thing about enchanted rooms, you may want to be standing on stairs before you start pissing it off. Or so, experience tells me.
Gnarl, are you joining in on this plan/theory?
Yeah.
Gnarl?
Well,
No, this is bad behavior.
That's my boy. Good job. It's naughty behavior.
Okay.
Hey, lizard man.
I want to ask, have you seen anything coming through here?
Brother, who are you talking
I want
to
to
exactly?
squat down. I'm squatting over the lips that are in the floor here to see if it answers back. Or do they go away? Is that what happened?
It holds a mouth shape. It's just that the tiles move and swim and animate when you all had stepped into the room.
Yeah, you made it sound like he was genuinely asking a question, or still interested.
That's generally what the message that repeated itself several times
Is
did
it still
sound
repeating
like.
itself?
Not at the moment, no. The last time you heard it was when the last person entered the room.
Well, I'm gonna piss on it because now I own it, and then I'm gonna walk forward.
Like breadcrumbs, Rex leaves a trail of urine so that he might follow his own scent back home.
Are there any?
I also own that rock.
Are there any like pebbles or small stones in the room?
Yeah, there's loose little debris pieces here and there. This is clearly an untouched old corridor, old room.
Alright.
There's bits of whatever here and there.
As everyone leaves the room, Lorenzo picks one up and he stands at the top of the stairwell. Hopefully everyone's out of the room, and he tosses one of the stones back into the room.
Okay. You notice absolutely nothing happening.
I think it's just like those stone statues in the labyrinth. They're just there for security.
Beware!
Yeah.
The path that
Your
you
stone-
take will lead to certain destruction.
Your stone went right over Pustis' head, I'm sure.
All right.
Yeah, it sailed over.
Yeah.
So,
Lorenzo continues forward.
yeah, I would, I'd like you all to try to drive the conversation a bit, like as you let me know how you're moving forward, what you are inquire about things.
Sniffing.
Okay.
Hey,
Trying to send, yeah.
Rex, why don't you put your nose down to the floor and let's see if we can find where that rot smell is.
Fuck off. And then I do it
Hey.
anyways.
I'm doing it, but not because you told me to.
That's dark.
As you all head down this even steeper set of stairs, you see another sort of crossroads in front of you. And as you all sort of step into the center of it, Gnarl and Pustis, who are still closest to the steps, you observe from a safe distance that these odd-looking grooves in the ceiling are starting to blur and block your vision as a loud clanking noise and an iron cage descends perfectly. Let me find the right. There we go.
That's not iron cage shaped.
Drops down from the ceiling with a very loud noise and completely blocks off every corridor, trapping 3 of you in the center of it.
Yeah.
I dodge out of the way.
I roll.
Uh,
You three who stepped forward noticed that as the weight of the 2 dwarfs came in, the whole floor itself almost sunk and dropped about, I don't know, like an inch or 2, as if the pressure is what caused this iron cage to drop and descend from the ceiling out of the grooves.
Spread your weight out, boys.
That's actually not bad advice. I'll take this bottom right corner.
Hold on to the bars as
Yeah.
well. That floor looks unstable.
Hey Rex, yeah, go up there. Yeah, hey Night Boy, why don't you go over to the bottom left?
how about you come back to me, and then Lorenzo jumps onto the bars.
You're being awfully obtuse. And then Gladhammer also grabs hold of the bars.
Okay. As you spread out and grab hold of the bars, well, one, you notice that there is a stretching corridor to the north and west, both with doors at the end. But more importantly, you notice that the bars of this cage are quite old and quite rusted.
Again, here we are with shitty workmanship. Luckily, I have my hammer. And he takes his hammer out, and he's just gonna bust a huge hole
Okay.
through this bottom part where Pustus and Gnarl are.
Back
Okay.
up, Gnarl. He's gonna smash the cage.
Okay. Roll. Swing away at that thing and roll 2d6 for me.
So I have a question.
Yes.
I have bend bars lift gates, which
Ooh,
when
yeah,
you
you
use
do.
pure
And I
strength
do
to
too.
destroy an inanimate object, roll plus strength.
Yes. Lorenzo, you do not remember that your pre-made sheet was kind of foobar. I didn't fully update it, but it had all the fighter stuff on it instead.
Son of a bitch.
Yes. So,
What's that?
you innate fighter, you Gladhammer. I don't know why that won't share. I'll just do that.
Wait, I legit don't have that move.
No, you legit don't.
Damn it.
Look on the wiki under
Legit.
starting moves for Paladin. So bend bar, lift gates. Yes, when you use pure strength to destroy an inanimate obstacle, you can roll plus strength. So go ahead, show these fucking people what you're made of, Gladhammer.
Oh, I will. Hold on 1 second while my dice read down. Alright.
I wish I followed Gladhammer's advice.
I'm quite strong. My foot
Gladhammer's been doing nothing but just neg on this dungeon lair, whatever the hell it is, since you got here about the craftsmanship. And as he stands here spouting once more about how awful it is, encaged by rusted, crappy iron bars, he's straining and groaning, and you can go ahead and take it from there.
Yeah, and his foot slips, and as it slips, he loses, and just hear this like loud clang that echoes out. Oh shite! Oh, I think I may have strained my. Oh, father would certainly not be happy with such a poor performance as this.
So you get an XP for failing, right?
You do.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
2 so far. I'm gonna
With
be
all of-
leveled up real quick.
With all this, it makes Rex angry. He puts his hands on the bars and he just wants to just use his strength to just spread the bars
Okay.
to the north.
Okay. All right. Roll for it.
I don't know what that. What do I roll?
Just roll
2d6.
2d6 plus strength.
2d6. Okay.
Nine.
good.
Okay. You're starting to make a little headway. Gladhammer, you can see that he's found the weak spot. Like clearly, he found the weak spot. But
Oh,
you
good
think
dwarf eyes, brother.
you think that you might be able to aid and assist him. Maybe even this annoying, stinky Rust Knight. The three of you combined could potentially make short work of it.
Hey, smelly night man, come over here.
I can see us. We're all stacked. We're all different heights. You know what I mean? So it's like all three of us are pulling. We're gonna do the rest of the bar.
And he's
Gnarl.
gonna start lifting.
So what I did, okay, I went to the south end. Here, let
Uh-huh.
me see if I can help. And I put my hands on the bars, and then
I
they
like
start
that.
glowing because they're starting to get really hot. I'll heat it up, and then you
Pustus-
could bend it easier.
Lorenzo does not move there, and he grabs a hold of the bars and he pulls as hard as he possibly can.
You grab the bars where Gnarl is in heating them, and you immediately feel this burning sensation come through your metal, like almost like the heated bars is transferring all the heat into your heavily mailed body.
Does he though?
Does he? Yeah, I don't know. What is your?
He's immune to fire.
Oh yeah, but magic fire.
It's not
It's not magic.
I don't think it's magic fire. I'm just making it regular hot.
Yeah. No, yeah. You're right. Okay. So yeah, sorry, retcon. While the dwarves are sort of bending and creaking and forcing their ways through, were you guys going to the north or the west, dwarves?
I was looking north just because.
Looking north where my brother found the weak spot.
Clearly. You guys are slowly bending and prying and hacking, and making your way through the north there, kind of loosening it enough that you can kind of pull some of the bars out one after the other. It's taking a little bit of time. Meanwhile, Lorenzo is you're pulling on like the bars that the salamander is heating up.
And make no mistake, he is heating up and starting to glow as well.
Yeah,
like his armor is just...
Yeah, you are grabbing it. Both Pustus and Gnarl, you notice first, like you're a bit impressed. Like this Rust Knight is spreading and pulling this stuff. Go ahead and roll 2d6, Lorenzo.
Yeah. Lorenzo's armor starts to heat up and glow like the sun.
It sure does, yeah. And it takes some time. But you can see that he's also making progress. But the thing that's more noticeable is not the sight, but the smell. You can smell burning, awful smell just emanating out from the rusted gauntlets and even out through the face mask of this thing. And he's just completely involved with stretching and opening it. But you notice there's a glow to the metal, almost like fresh metal at a forge. And the smell is fucking awful. Like just cooked, burnt, rotted flesh. Tainted meat.
Something smells like open butt.
Burned up.
Smells like Pumpkin Town.
It reminds me of Pumpkin Town.
Lorenzo just grunts. He continues to pull as hard as he possibly can. There's rust popping off of his armor. It's glowing red hot.
Rex, look at me. Look at me. Look at me. All right. This is gonna hurt, but you gotta focus, okay? You gotta focus. And he pulls his fist back.
What are you talking about?
And Gladhammer punches his brother really hard in the face. Use that anger. Use that anger. Hit him hard. Use it.
And I fucking pull so much harder.
It's in a very unorthodox way. Your half brother has just aided you in a very sort of primitive way, and you find and you just rip bar after bar out, making a passageway clean to the north corridor, enough for even the large salamander to slink through.
Shit, I never expected that to actually work.
That's good to know.
Lorenzo, while you yourself felt nothing from whatever is causing this foul smell, you can quickly discern that it is you who is causing the odor. And though you felt no pain, there was enough heat damage done to your flesh under the armor that you take 1 point of damage.
Oh, interesting. All right.
Okay.
See how this works.
You feel a little burned and singed, but you do stand there with sort of half-melted, rusted iron bars clanking down on the ground, and you also have made a path to the south. So now there are iron-barred, caged walls on the east and west corridors, but enough of an opening that would allow you all to travel through each side on the north and south of this thing.
All right, Lorenzo stumbles to his knees, and he wants to get out of his armor, but he knows that he's trapped inside of it. He's just burning alive.
It feels like the flesh from your hand to your elbow is almost grafted to the metal at this point right now.
He drops his shield, and there's just steam erupting off of him, and he He knows he's in a bad spot, but he just can't escape this metal cage around him.
Gnarl blows on him.
I start waving my hands like this, trying to cool off.
Yeah, you're doing that, and it's almost a godsend. Oh, because the smell is quite strong and noticeably coming off of the knight right now, like enough to draw curiosity about.
I'm half cooling him off, also half trying to get the smell away from my face. As I go like this.
Some selfish.
Do the dwarves smell this?
Yes. Oh yeah. And Rex.
Yeah.
Rex. Yeah, that beat.
Like the beginning of.
That was not the floor speaking to you again. Rex, your suspicions earlier are more than confirmed as you kind of settle down from your brotherly induced rage, and you kind of immediately your face like led by your nose snaps towards the knight who's kind of standing there panting, and you still glowing a bit. You can almost smell the warmth coming off him, but more importantly you can smell what reminds you of that time that you, in your many vast bear studies, tried cooking the flesh of a rotted bear that you came across in the forest. And it was foul, did not taste good, and this is probably the closest thing to that smell that you can think of.
Dude, I just got taste aversion a little bit.
Yeah.
I threw up in my mouth, but I don't let anybody know. Because
On that
signs of weakness.
On that horrible note, let me take 2 to get some water.
Yep.
Get a drink, you know?
Yep.
Be right back.
That is fair.
Fair enough. Pumpkin Town.
Pumpkin Town.
This is so good.
Disgusting Randy.
Wait, who's Randy?
That's the guy from Pumpkin Town who cut a hole in the pumpkin. Started going to Pumpkin Town on it.
Is he your boss?
Nah, he's just like an idiot that lives in the town. I don't know. I literally conceived of him on the spot about.
Yeah, this is gonna turn into a thing. He's gonna be a returning person in your past.
He's gonna be some evil wizard or something like that.
Yeah, we're gonna be in on some adventure, and then there's gonna be some fool fucking making a muck or whatever, and he's gonna be unhooded.
Yeah.
It's Randy from Pumpkin Town.
It's Randy.
All those years you
Like
called
you.
me disgusting Randy. Who's disgusting now?
As he's fucking a pumpkin.
Yeah.
Like, oh god, I'll kill you.
That'd be great. I'm actually kind of disappointed Fiddy didn't hear that.
No, we'll make it happen. Cool thing about Dungeon World is, at any point, if you spout lore and you roll high enough, it's true.
Oh, that's amazing.
You guys want some real life lore about pumpkins?
What do you do?
So pumpernickel, the bread, is the etymology of that word is German. It means goblin shit, literally.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought Scheiser was the German word for shit.
But yeah. But pumper, right, means poop, and then nickel means like goblin, right? Like Saint Nicholas, right? This is goblin. So pumpkin probably means like something that has to do with like a poop or a shit or something.
Well, it tastes like shit. So I mean, there's that.
Pumpernickel bread.
All right, let me look up pumpkin etymology. I gotta know this down.
Yeah, it says the Oxford English Dictionary does not commit to any particular etymology for the word.
For a pumpernickel?
It suggests it may mean a lout or booby, but also says origin uncertain. But I like your explanation a lot better anyway.
All right, hold on.
It's just rye bread, but I gotta tell you, I don't know. For some reason, I don't like it.
What is it?
Pumpernickel?
Oh, yeah. I'm not a fan either.
I like rye bread, but not pumpernickel for some reason. I don't know.
I gotta use my magic spells to conjure gentleman's drink.
Ooh, a gentleman's drink, you say?
Like a true gentleman.
Yeah, with my new birthday cup.
Well,
I got two birthday cups.
Let's see it. Oh, yeah.
Oh, Rick and
Nice.
Morty. What's the other one?
I can't see the other one.
I can't see it.
Yeah,
It's,
so
Got too much reflection on it.
Yeah.
IPA. Something
It's
at the
a
bottom?
it's a Sword Coast Legendary IPA.
Oh no.
Sword Coast. Nice.
So this says pumpernickel from German means an abusive nickname for a stupid person, right? So pumpern means stupid person, and nickel means goblin, like Saint Nicholas. And
Not
then
like cheap.
An earlier German name was Krankerbrat, which literally means sick bread.
Crankerbrat.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
That's what we call disgusting Randy. We call him Pumpernickel sometimes.
Goblin shit.
'Cause he's literally goblin shit. Randy, clean out the chamber pots.
Shut up, you pumpernickel.
You ding dong Pumpernickel, get out of Pumpkin Town.
Yeah. He just kept pumping and pumping. Built that gourd up.
So
Are we all
well,
out of the cage at this point? Or no?
yeah. And are we stay back?
Do we have openings to the left and right, or just the north?
Oh,
and south?
not at all. Just the north
Just
and
north,
south.
north,
Yeah,
south.
but you do notice that to the left and right, even to the far to the east, through a deeper part of this corridor, is another door. So you have doors to the north, east, and west at the moment.
So I have an out of character question.
Yeah, sure.
We have 3 hit points in this game.
Whoa, no. What?
No. How many hit points do we have? I thought we had like 3
You have
different
25 health.
states. Oh, well, shit, damn. 1 point of damage is nothing.
Why is your defense 3 though? Let me just
Is that good or
Let me
bad?
just,
That's-
check that. That seems wrong. Well,
That
like
seems not good.
1 or 2 armor is quite a lot in this game.
Yeah, armor is huge. I don't even have armor.
I've got 3.
Hey,
Paladin.
don't-
I don't know
don't
that that's
that.
right though.
I mean, he's got a shield and heavy plate, right?
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
And I
okay.
don't have the debuff for heavy plate.
Halberd, longsword.
Hey.
What's it
Puke
called?
on my table.
Where do we see armor? I'm looking for it.
It's just under defense.
I have
That's
the
where I put
armored
it.
thing. So
This is like a very generic character sheet.
I don't even.
if you will.
Oh, I see.
You should have one defense under your 24 health.
Oh, I see now. Okay, yep.
Hold on.
And it comes 100% from your
Armored.
mohawk.
Yeah, you got that thing.
1 armor, 24 health.
You should use your mohawk like a third axe.
Oh.
Nope. I have other weapons that are better.
So you started with longsword and shield, Lorenzo. Okay, yeah,
Perfect.
you do have 3 armor. That is a lot of armor. Good on you, Rust Knight.
It's rusty, but it's strong. And I'm
Yeah.
hoping that from getting partially melted to it, like the rust is starting to fall off of it.
Yeah, we'll see. Was
It's like, no.
is strong Gladhammer back yet? No. Okay.
No, he's just happy to be a hammer.
Yeah.
Yeah, very glad.
He's so happy about it.
Pumpkin Town. I had a cousin from Pumpkin Town.
Was his name Randy?
No.
Awesome,
good.
Randy.
He was good friends with Awesome Randy.
No, his name's Disgusting Randy, not Awesome Randy.
Well, I knew him as Awesome Randy, the man who single-handedly slayed a score of pumpkin with his own wiener.
And 1
He-
fort.
Remember Randy from Pee Wee's Playhouse? He would like jump down and be like, "Hey, smoke cigarettes, Pee Wee." Pee Wee would be like,
I don't actually.
Pee Wee would be like, "No, Randy, I don't want
was like
Randy."
He's like the 50s guys with the rolled up white sleeves and
Yeah,
the red
yeah,
hair.
Wait, hold on. I need to see this.
He's like
right
a
now.
puppet.
Put your little
Um,
sister in the microwave, Pee Wee. No.
Rex, you as an outsider among all of these sort of outlandish folks that you've ended up in this place with, you know that you almost feel like this innate desire, perhaps, to share some of your strange tales of your adventures or your homeland or what you left behind.
Oh, that's tough. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
No, it doesn't have to be
Rex-
right now, but you know.
Okay. All right.
It
Perfect.
can be.
I'm gonna wait for the moment, but I know what else. I know how to do it.
Okay.
I just gotta wait for the moment.
So I suddenly remember Randy.
Alright, suddenly, as in you looked it up on Google.
Yeah, he's shaped like a toilet.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, he's like every
right.
redheaded
Looks like a
bully
dog.
kid in every old movie ever,
Yeah.
Yeah.
as far as design.
I'll
But
show you how to make a prank call,
but in
Pee-wee.
god awful nightmare fuel puppet shape.
Yeah, I definitely didn't want to be him. You know, as I grew up, I definitely saw that and was like, yeah, I don't want to be anything like that. Is that guy?
Yeah,
It's not a good guy.
it's definitely not a
This
good
is how
guy.
you make a prank call, Pee-wee.
As I walk forward, I seem to be whispering to my fur that I
Yeah.
wear.
Okay. Oh, did
It's
your mic cut out?
inaudible. No,
Oh,
it's inaudible. It's
Okay.
inaudible.
Yeah. Shh. Are you wearing visible sort of dangling paws that you talked about earlier, or is that
Yes.
not,
Oh
not
yeah.
a thing?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'm wearing it on me right now.
Is that like? Is it just like paws and fur, or is there more to it than that?
It's the head.
So it's like
And
it's kind of like
it's-
the head almost forms like a hood. In
Yeah.
some way.
Yep. I'll add an image. I have an image here.
Okay.
It's like. Oh, let me just share screen. It'll be easier.
Sure.
Um.
Or if you could link it, be cool. I can drag it over
I
to
will.
the main screen.
Oh, yeah. Oh shit. Well, now I'm sharing too.
Okay. Ooh,
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
Let me get a
Like
link
that.
for that bad boy.
Except for it's not sleeveless. I have my hands tucked into the bear's paws as weapons.
Your bare hands.
Yeah, my bare hands. I'm gonna murder shit with my bare hands. It's the goal.
Where did you link? There you are.
Like this is it going?
Who?
Dave, go.
Where did
Nice.
Dave go?
Sounds
Right,
like he is examining the walls.
Yeah. It sure does. Okay. Bear.
Those iron bars were really vexing. You needed to look at how they were constructed.
Boom. So you,
Yeah, that
yeah.
was fast, sir.
you know,
Holy
yeah, I've
Jesus.
got a few tricks I'm working on. You've got yeah, you kind of see. Do you have the hood up, or is that sort of down on
Oh,
the back
no.
of your neck? Yeah.
I'm wearing that hood up like that.
Okay, yeah, okay. So on top of Rex's face, you see this this large, gutted sort of top half of a bear, and dangling are these just large, gnarly clawed paws. And you kind of see him almost whispering to himself and drifting off in thought as he wanders through the now open bars to the north. We'll just say Gladhammer's following along behind him there. The others of you. Are you moving in and following along as well? What would you like to do?
Suppose we should stay as a group, so yeah, I think I'll follow along.
Okay.
Follow along.
Ooh,
Through-
Lorenzo's on all fours,
Drink
and
the wrong cup.
he kind of mumbles, like, Ouroboros, guide me through this pain, and he starts to stumble up, and there's rust kind of like exploding off of him, and little bits of charred flesh, and he kind of like stumbles up, and he moves forward.
Okay. As you all step through the bars, in front of you is a door. But more noticeable than the door itself is the silhouette form that's taking shape as your light illuminates the end of the corridor. And lying there is a human-shaped corpse down in front of the door, curled up, clearly dead, although you can't really tell how fresh, etc. at the moment from this distance.
Maybe this is the source of that original stench that we smelled before we started smelling Lorenzo.
Lorenzo naturally takes lead and moves forward with his shield up.
Nice.
Okay. Please, in detail, describe how you approach the body.
Lorenzo, sword drawn, like kind of takes half steps, kind of like a little canter up to it, just keeping his eye on it the whole time.
Okay. So what exactly are you doing as you get close to it? Like if you were to describe this scene moment by moment in written book form, how would it go? What would I be reading right now?
Rex squints, watching.
What does we watch
anticipating.
Lorenzo steps step by step, shield out, sword drawn towards the corpse that lay in front of the door. As he gets closer and closer, he does what?
He keeps his shield drawn like close to his helmet.
Okay.
Tries to make sure that there's room for the rest of the party to see around the sides of his shield.
Are you all moving in immediately behind him?
Oh yeah, but I'm not even like using the shield because I'm an idiot.
Please position your tokens where you actually are as he moves through the corridor.
I'm good right here.
Yeah, okay.
Investigating, sniffing the air.
To Lorenzo, it's just a common corpse, and he kind of drops his guard a little bit and drops his shield down. He's seen many corpses in his day, and this is no different from any
No
other.
such thing as a common corpse. They all tell a story.
So here in this corridor, this strange lair where you all have discerned that no one has been for ages, lies a corpse dead on the ground in front of the door. What would you like to do?
Can I attempt to speak with the corpse?
I don't know, can you?
That's really creepy, Pustus.
Well, that's just so happens I decided to not take Cure Light Wounds and take...
I'll allow it.
Speak to corpse?
Yeah, there's like a cleric spell called, level 1 spell called
Dead.
Speak with Dead.
Oh,
Corpse converses with you briefly. It will answer any 3 questions you pose to it, to the best of its knowledge.
Should you roll a 10?
What was your other level 1 spell that you took?
The one I already used.
Grape pumpkin.
I thought I used another one.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
So
Then
you have
no.
2.
Alright, so I'll take Speak with Dead and Cure Light Wounds.
You never told me, with the other ones. Okay, that's fine. Those are your spells.
Those are my spells.
Okay. So, you see these bumbling fools approaching a dead corpse ahead of you. How do you proceed as they look like they're about to examine, possibly taint the crime scene?
Fellas, this is a crime scene. Hold on. Nobody move. I need to talk to this fella here on the ground. I'm a cleric. I have many powers that are way beyond your comprehension and understanding. Please, make way, make a line, make a corridor for me to walk through, please.
Are you all obliging the small holy man?
Lorenzo is in complete disbelief, but he kind of like cackles to himself under his breath and then lowers his shield and lets the little man through.
Almost
So I
reluctant
walk up
to
to the
half
corpse.
step.
I walk up to the corpse and I like hike up my sleeves like this and I'm like,
Okay, speak with me, baby. Speak with me.
I sound like Beetlejuice. I've got like a totally different voice when no one can hear me.
Like, oh yeah, you gotta fucking tell me all your secrets, you little bitch.
Yeah. Your true bedside manner is definitely that of like a dirty old pumpkin fucker.
I'm like that
Okay.
guy. I got a whole basement full of pumpkins.
All right, so out of character, since we're fresh here, when you cast a cleric spell, you roll 2d6 plus your wisdom. On a 10 plus, the spell's successful, and your god does not revoke the spell, so you may use it again, so you don't lose the spell. On a 7 to 9, you'll have a hard choice from your god. Well, let's deal with that when we get to it. Let's see as you bend over this corpse and spout your filth and try to find out what secrets it knows.
Oh.
There's no plus?
You-
Doesn't have a plus with this?
I had 1.
Your wisdom.
7. You nailed it. You got
Okay.
you got to 7. Yeah.
Okay.
Come on.
Yeah, so that is a 7.
Remember your bonuses, people.
So as you have a gnarled old finger for a holy symbol, are you kind of like
Yeah,
poking
it's like
the corpse in strange places, trying to reveal what the orifices can tell you?
I'm like twirling it. I'm twirling the thing in my hand, and I'm just like, Yeah. I'm picking up the arm and I'm dropping it. I'm whispering all sorts of weird shit in its ear. I'm like looking in its like t-shirt pockets and I'm checking for a wallet and stuff like that. I'm like, speak to me, you little motherfucker. Tell me all your juicy secrets right now.
The corpse protects its butt.
Okay.
This
is really hard.
It's not like a sexual thing. It's more like a kind of I don't know, like that one uncle that you had that like was just a little weird.
The corpse puts its hand over its mouth.
As your finger and your and your inspections just
tracing the orbit of its
trace around every last inch of this body. You feel the magic of your god coursing through you, but something feels a bit wrong. Something feels a bit dissatisfied. You, at this moment, inside your very being, know that your god, for some reason, has a bit of displeasure with you, and you must channel his rage in one of several ways. You can knowingly put yourself in a bad position. You don't know what would happen, but you know that some ill effect would arise and cause this spell to have some sort of negative side effect directly affecting you. Or you can displease your god and distance yourself from the equivalent of sleeping on the couch with your god, and you would be taking a -1 ongoing penalty to all future spells until the next day when you commune with your god again.
That sounds terrible.
Or you can complete the spell, take its results from this body, but know that your god would strip it from you until the next day when you commune again, upon which he may grant it to you once more.
Well, we need the information now, so I'm gonna say, like, there's like a bad. The first option. There's like some sort of bad result.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Do you choose that? Or do you want me to make it up?
No, I get to choose that. That's my turn. So if you will, just take us through the last sort of thing you do, the last step of your process as you work over this body.
Okay, so
I'll pick it up from there.
I take like a piece of old hair and I go like that, and I'm like, and put it down. I got my finger in its ear, and I smell the.
Ooh, almost like a wet willy, like you got the
smegma from my finger.
Smegma doesn't belong there.
And you hear, and like the guys behind me, they hear me just like a different voice muttering, but they don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah, beautiful. So as you pull the smegma covered finger out, there's almost this like as the corpse just kind of like whips up in like this this sort of rigor mortis type pose, clenches, snaps to the back where there's clearly a dagger planted in the back of it, rips it free from the pretty freshly killed flesh, and there's still a bit of like blood coming forth from the dagger, and this is all happening very slowly as it grabs you and says Penrose and stabs you with the dagger, and it kind of takes a moment back and says, you're not Penrose, but you do take 2 points of damage from the glancing dagger wound.
Do you get XP for taking damage?
No, I put it on your wounds here for you. So you take 2 points of damage as the glancing blow cuts through you, and this person, this human-looking sort of townsperson, is looking at you in confusion. I thought you were Penrose. It was just moments ago he stabbed me in the back, that bastard. We avoided the trap. We were looking for the treasures we were promised down here, and he stabbed me and ran off. Have you seen him? Have you seen Penrose?
Can Lorenzo make a snap action?
Well, I do believe that. Let me double check the magic of this. Communicate with corpse. Speak with dead. Converses with you briefly. It will answer 3 questions you pose to it to the best of its knowledge. Okay, so, Pustis, you sort of recover from the shock of this is the first time I take it you've ever had one of these corpses you've tried speaking with react in such a way. Maybe not.
Yeah, first time.
Okay.
Well, I've never done it before.
Okay, it's your first time. So you've never done it before, but in the old scrolls you read when you were drawn to your god, you do know that your time of interaction with this thing is very short and brief. You know that the magic will only last for a moment, and that you can ask up to 3 questions if you do so in a timely manner. So the thought of Lorenzo stepping in and interrupting you is something that you might take an affront to.
I clutch
just
my wound
innately.
and I hold my hand back at the back of the hallway to stay Lorenzo's hand. Listen, I don't have much time to talk to you. I need to ask you some very, very pertinent questions. First of all, who killed you?
Penrose Williams. Penrose Williams. We were in the town. We were sold some strange map. He's kind of panting, and almost as if like magically his lips have become sealed once more.
What did you find that
One
caused
question has been
Penrose
answered.
to kill you?
So can you repeat the question? Can you repeat the question?
What did you cause Penrose? What did you do to cause Penrose to kill you?
Okay. He believed that this was a false trapped door, and he tried to force me into it to spring the trap as he ran off back down to the south and then eastern corridor.
Wait.
Oh.
Okay.
This thing is looking around like wide-eyed. You can almost see the life slowly leaving the body.
What? Tell me everything you know about Penrose.
Oh. Didn't see that one coming.
Tell me everything. I said everything.
He carries some strange silver amulet with him, always clutching it. He's a thief, and I only agreed to work with him for his alleged expertise in traps and such. All he did with that knowledge was try to sabotage me, and he just falls back down dead in front of this door that he claimed was false.
Sleep now in the ever-loving womb of Crexus.
Nailed it.
Did anyone else hear that, or is it?
I think I don't know how. Pustus, why don't you tell us how it works? Do other people hear that, or is this a sort of like a strange sort of mental dialogue?
No, it was. It was in hushed, whispered tones. I whip around.
He said that.
I mean, he said that.
So, is it almost like you two were kind of like speaking in tongues in like this strange sort of guttural whispered language?
It sounded like two Beetlejuices talking to each other.
Okay, perfect.
Like that.
Yeah.
And that's how it's always gonna be. And then I turn around and I say, "Listen, there's a guy named Penrose in here that killed this fellow, and because he thought this door was trapped. I don't know if it is or it isn't, but Penrose went south and east."
All right, Lorenzo.
That's all I got. He's got a silver amulet around his neck as well, and he's always clutching it. I don't know why.
Lorenzo approaches the tiny little Beetlejuice man and notices the dagger just sticking right out of him, and kind of like sits him down and puts one hand on the dagger, one hand on his shoulder, and pulls the dagger out and uses lay on hands.
Wait.
Okay. Well, the dagger.
My shoulder?
Yeah, you've been stabbed.
Yeah.
You got stabbed.
We didn't leave it there.
The dagger's not sticking him. It was a glancing blow. The dagger kind of dropped on the ground between Pustus and the corpse once they had their conversation.
Then I'll pick up the dagger and I'll toss it at Rex. Like, here you go, and then I'll lay on hands.
Okay. Lay on hands. So let me just double confirm how that.
I grab the dagger.
Works.
I stick it in my belt.
Hopefully you catch it.
So as Pustus returns to you, you see the glancing dagger wound that cut through his mantle, his cloth mantle. Is that what you got going on there?
Yeah, sure. It's like one of these guys.
While typically this needs to be skin to skin, how would you normally do that, Lorenzo?
My lay on hands.
It's a skin to skin contact.
All right, Lorenzo.
They didn't say which skin.
It's true.
Lorenzo kind of like pulls his glove down a little bit, and
the glove that just recently grafted to your arm. You may try to do so.
Well, I would imagine it's a leather glove, but.
I thought you had rusted metal armor.
Okay.
Maybe you can tell me you don't. I mean, it's fine.
Lorenzo tries in vain to pull his glove off of his hand. He's familiar with lay on hands, and he's done it many times, but somehow his armor is grafted to his skin. It just fused right on. He pulls real hard.
It feels stuck. How hard do you pull? Do you pull hard enough that you want to try pulling the glove, the gauntlet off?
He pulls, but he understands that if he pulls any harder, his whole hand is going to come off with this thing. And he kind of just kind of looks really disappointed, and he pulls back.
Pustus, you kind of see all of this. You gather he's trying to help, but you're not sure what the heck he's actually doing.
What are you doing?
Nothing, my young halfling. What were you doing?
I just spoke. Wait, I just told you guys exactly what happened. I just spoke with this dead fellow here.
And is that it, my pumpkin raper?
That was Randy, not me.
that was a friend. We need sidebar. We eventually need someone who uses speak with dead and like actually like tries to puppeteer the corpse when they talk to like the dead mouth like and everything. That'd be great. Anyway, okay. So with Pustus's corpse drawn information and what you now know, what would you all like to do? I'm looking especially at Gnarl, Rex. What are you guys up to?
Oh.
You
They said the door was booby trapped.
Is it?
I try to open the door.
Oh!
Okay.
Lorenzo puts his shield up and motions for everyone to stand behind it.
Okay.
I move to the door and I say, if it's trapped with fire,
Move your tokens where you want to be as.
All right, I pull. I don't know what the distances
Gnarl
are.
claims that it's fine. If you want to be a safe distance, that's fine.
Yeah.
Gnarl claims he's going to open the door. Pustus, are you falling back, Rex? Lorenzo's sort of drawn a line in the ground with his shield drawn.
I'll take one step back to be first with a glad hammer.
Okay. Okay. Gnarl, as you approach the door, leaning over the puny human corpse that lays at your feet, you see a handle, like almost like an iron wrought ring that you can pull to try to open the door.
Yeah, I do that.
Okay.
I grab it, and then I just slowly pull on it.
You notice that as you pull on the door, it almost feels fastened on every side of the door, not like just on the side where there would be hinges. You notice that it feels stuck on every piece of door, like the entire perimeter. But you do pull, and the whole thing comes out from the wall about several inches, and there's a loud mechanical noise as blades from the ceiling come piercing down, and you take 2 points of damage.
It's a booby trap.
With your hand still around the ring of the door, you can almost feel the gears turning. What would you like to do?
I tumble back out of the way.
Okay, so you relinquish the handle of the door and move back.
So yeah, I after the blades from the ceiling. How do the blades from the ceiling work? Do they was that saw blades or what was that?
It was almost like just long piercing blades that just shot out of the ceiling quickly and retracted back into the ceiling.
Like spears?
Pretty much, yeah.
Or like swords.
Are you okay, my flaming salamander?
More like spears.
Okay. And they just basically grazed me.
Yeah.
So, and then I heard sound of like mechanics sort of winding up.
Correct, almost as if it was priming, like reloading,
Yeah.
almost like a spring kind of thing.
Yeah. So, I tumbled back.
Okay.
Does the door slam back into place, or does it?
So again, like this thing almost like a stone kind of moving out from the wall, like just went back in, like a solid object, as if you can almost tell that this is some kind of false door.
This door is a trap.
Oh,
I
we
recommend
love him
we-
lying.
I recommend we go to a different door.
It appears that only a fool would pull on that door handle again.
I could give it another try.
No.
I already start walking back the way, climbing through the fence that we already tore open.
Okay, yeah, you kind of climbed through the rusted hold opening that you've made. The only pass available to you right now would be back to the south, or you would have to spend some time making a passage to the east and west.
All right, brother. This worked before. Would you like to try it again? Okay.
I shove him against the wall.
Just
thinking about the way he fucking punched me in the face last time pisses me off.
I'm real good at lifting up really heavy things, so don't worry, I got this.
Naro, perhaps we
Okay.
can get through this gate.
Gladhammer just pushes through everyone.
We could do this.
Kind of.
Don't
Oh,
worry.
Gladhammer's doing it.
Don't worry. This is gonna be real solid.
Oh no. Yeah, it
No,
is
it's
real
good. It's
solid.
good.
Okay.
Although it cost you something.
Do I need to roll? I didn't roll.
Gladhammer
himself.
just forces his way through.
It doesn't take a very
Oh,
long
perfect.
time.
Okay.
And I could fix it pretty easily if I wanted to.
But do you want to?
Okay. All right. So with an impressive feat of strength this time, Gladhammer proves his talk to be true, and he just wrenches bars out quickly, one after another, just clanking rusted bar, almost dropping and flying and spearing into the salamander behind him. As a new pathway opens up to the west. Yeah, this is the several moments of speared metal things flying at the lizard. But you now have a pathway to the west where there appears to be another door ahead of you.
All right, brother, let's check this out. Oh, and I guess the rest of you too.
Okay.
Lorenzo mutters towards Pieces.
I'm moving with him.
That man knows how to handle some iron.
He knows how to handle the bars. Thick rods. You know what I mean?
So
I hear it, but I pay it no mind.
You come to the end of the western corridor and find nothing but a door.
Is it a very well-made door, or is it a kind of shitty door like everything else in this blasted place?
Are you
Everything's shitty.
just thinking thoughts inside your head, or are you doing something?
I want to pitch
no,
it. I
I'm-
want to pitch something.
I'm definitely taking a look around. I'm also looking at the floor pretty intensely to make sure that
Yeah.
I've seen traps.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
Lorenzo-
there's more of this dark brick masonry from floor to ceiling, save for the wooden door to the west here. Go ahead and maybe discern realities while you examine the craftsmanship.
Oh, well, on the bright side, that's wisdom, right?
That is.
So that's 5.
You're really learning a lot down here.
I'm learning so much. I'm a third of my way to next level.
Yeah, you really can't see past the poor craftsmanship.
That's great. I walk right up to the door.
Okay, and yeah, you think, wooden door, shitty craftsmanship, and you go and yank on the handle.
Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah,
much like
yank
the
real
door
hard.
to the north that the salamander examined, you notice that this thing is just stiff. Doesn't pull out, despite the strength that you've just recently displayed. It doesn't move at all. No hinge, nothing.
Lorenzo calls out, "Halfling, the ceiling, you idiot!
Brother, you gotta help me with this big old head.
Look at the ceiling!"
Well, maybe you
As
could
I
do
approach-
something useful and put your shield up, you fucking pal.
Lorenzo runs up
Oh.
to them and holds his shield above his head.
That's a good idea.
Okay. Okay.
Actually, not a bad idea.
With our luck,
So
we'll come out
you're
through
standing
the door.
above the short
do-
stocky people with your shield up.
Yeah, I do
just
like
kinda-
a tumble in, like a somersault, and then shield over the head.
Wow, that's quite agile for a heavily rusted armor man.
Jesus.
No, it's not, because I don't have the cumbersome. What?
Well,
Yeah,
man,
yeah, that's
you
the
know.
perks of being a
Well,
paladin.
you're not
damn.
clumsy in the armor, but I don't know that you're fucking somersaulting.
Ignore
in-
the clumsy tag on your armor wear. Boop,
Okay.
boop, 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 boop.
Yes, that is the words on there. That doesn't mean that you can perform acrobatics in heavy armor.
Bless you.
Roll to do a somersault and hold my shield above my head.
Okay, yeah, let's see what you got. Add your
please.
dex bonus.
Please, Jesus.
Hey, brother.
Yeah.
this oughta
Oh
be
yeah.
rich.
Okay.
Extra
And in a surprising display of acrobatics, despite the heavy armor you're wearing, you manage to creak and roll your way in place of the dwarves and get your shield up.
My rusty armor sets into position.
Almost defying all logic, you do so.
The armor just kind of like sets into place and it becomes
Beautiful.
steel.
I watched this odd maneuver as
It's-
I walk up
it's quite odd.
casually next to my brother
Yeah.
and help him with what he's doing.
Okay.
That's real good, Rex.
I
Let's
hope
wreck
that-
this thing.
I hope the spears don't come from the front.
Wait, Dave, what is Glad trying to do? What is he trying to do right now?
I'm pulling the door open. It won't
Okay,
budge.
he's
For
pulling,
strength.
and I am going to fucking punch it as hard as I can.
Okay.
I'm gonna punch a
Punch
hole.
the
Alright.
door or punch me?
I'll punch the door. as
Oh,
hard as
do
I
both. Just use two hands.
Okay, so essentially, out of game, just as far as rules go, whenever you're trying to help or hinder someone that you're traveling with, you roll 2d6 plus however many bonds you have with them. So do you have any bonds with your
I
half-brother?
do. I
How
have
many?
2.
So you would roll 2d6 plus 2 on your aid as you
Is that-
punch the door he's trying to force open.
Is that fulfilled bonds or is that bonds?
No,
that-
this bond is bonds in this case
5.
are almost like your stat bonus.
Okay.
Yeah,
my
Rex.
hand.
Rex in effects, y'all. You're punching this thing, and it's just your hands are getting raw and bloody. Whatever this fucking door is made of, it's miraculous, despite what your half brother keeps talking about. And
Alright,
you're pulling. Go ahead and are you trying to use Ben Bar or lift gates? Essentially.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all right, you're just yanking and pulling on this thing. Let's see what you got. You do not get a +1 bonus for
Holy
the aid.
shit.
Um,
I get plus
But he
strength
gets a
though, which is
13 out
plus
of
2.
12.
Woo-wee! So,
My God.
Rex, you feel like your hands are bleeding. Whatever you're doing, it apparently helped as Gladhammer is
Makes
just yanks on this thing with ferocity.
So Ben Bars lift gates. I get to pick 3 of those.
Yeah.
All right, doesn't take very long. Doesn't make a lot of noise,
Okay.
and nothing of value. Well, there's nothing of value.
Yeah,
here.
okay. Well, maybe not on the door.
Okay, nothing of value is damaged.
Doesn't mean there's nothing of value on anyone or anything around
True.
you.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
So-
to your
Dude,
point,
like, rip
nothing
the
of value
door.
is damaged.
Rex, you are pounding away on this thing, and before you know it, almost ripping more flesh from your knuckles, the thing comes ripping off of the stone wall and goes flying past the halfling and the salamander and slams into the rusted bars behind you, like full force, just flies down the corridor. And standing in front of you is raw stone with like that when you move a refrigerator and there's just like that line of dust almost making like a cartoon outline. There's this clean, perfect, untainted dark stone behind this false door that Gladhammer just ripped and threw off.
I'm starting
know my
to
own
think
strength.
this whole place is a cage.
So there's nothing here.
Is what you say out loud as you stare into stone wall.
Well, I'm gonna put my hand on it and like trace my fingers along the curvature. I'm gonna take a little of the mortar. I'm gonna do the little finger thing, little lick.
Why just not simply walk into mortar?
Well, listen, you're not a fucking dwarf. Let me do the appraising of this stone. Remember, 43,000 words for stone in the dwarvish language. So please.
As you almost riding that euphoric sort of adrenaline rush that you have with how how much you've just displayed your raw dwarvish strength, I will allow you to once more make a fresh discern realities as you now have a new perception of this corridor. As you lick this old, strange dust.
As you lick some shit.
Can I get linked to the wiki?
What here is useful or valuable to me?
Did you just no roll a new discern realities basically.
I have
I'm
to
allowing
actually roll it.
I'm allowing you to do it again even though you already did it and failed.
I got an 8.
Thank you.
Well, beautiful. So, you may ask one question.
Yes. What here is useful or valuable to me or my party?
Clearly, now that you've cleared this corridor of distractions, the most useful thing to you is this obvious false stone on the south wall directly below you. It's like a large sort of brick-shaped stone that does not fit with the rest of this craftsmanship.
Yeah, he just takes his hammer and literally just like bashes it. Oh, well, look at this. Bang.
Your hammer connects, crushes the stone, clearly almost hollow in form, and there is a loud grinding noise as the entire wall just slowly clunk, clunk, clunk lowers down into the dark stone floor, revealing a brand new corridor to the south.
Oh, look what I found.
Oh.
I smack him on the chest like a high five to the chest like that, you know?
I found to the chest.
like barbarians do to each other. And
just
I head
headbutt.
Yeah, it's like a good job kind of a smack, and it's firm as fuck.
It feels really good to glad hammer.
There's almost a fresh. You can almost sense like a little bit, a smell like a little bit of breeze coming through as this stone finishes settling down into the floor.
Oh, well, as my father always says, follow your nose. So I say we go down.
It was not apparent to everyone, but Lorenzo was holding his breath the whole time. He had his shield up, and he slowly exhales, and it's just a stench fills the room.
Hope the breeze blows it away soon.
I mean, seriously, what is that smell? That is rank.
Lorenzo kind of uses his shield to cut into the stench and kind of spoon it away from everybody.
All right. Well, feel free to describe and or move your miniatures as you would like to proceed.
Well, I guess I'll go through the door or the opening, wherever
as
that
I walk,
is.
As I walk with him, I say, "Lorenzo needs a bath."
Lorenzo heard it and said like, "Yes, I do."
Yeah, he's kind of smelly, brother. Do you smell anything kind of weird on that guy?
It's foul.
Lorenzo keeps close quarters with the dwarves. He just kind of trails behind them. He tries to ignore them.
Hey, Pustus.
I don't mind so much.
Hey, come down here with us. There may be interesting things. We need your keen eyes down here.
What do mine eyes see?
I don't know. What do they see?
Can
I mean,
Get in here.
We don't have elf eyes, but a gnome eyes are alright, I guess.
Good in dim light, man.
I'm a halfling.
Right,
Yeah.
that too.
Can I
Well-
discern reality? I guess it discern reality, or I don't know.
Yeah, discern realities is basically like an all-encompassing sort of examination ability that you all have. It's just a matter of, how you describe what you're doing that might affect how it kind of moves forward a bit.
I'm going to try this again.
I go up to the stairs.
Okay. I mean, as you approach, you see a steep sort of stairs that go up to another hallway corridor. It looks like.
Climb the stairs.
Okay.
Lorenzo cries out, "Gnarl, have you learned nothing?" And then he cries, "Up!"
I don't quite trust that lizard thing, but I guess we should follow him.
Peer
Give him
around
a
the
chance.
corner. I give people like the this kind of motion while I look around the corners.
Oh, do it with your tail.
Oh yeah, I do it with my tail.
That's hot right there.
Your tail goes up like a
Literally.
periscope.
Oh yeah.
Looking around
Is it
everywhere.
clear?
It appears to be clear, and the thing that you immediately notice as you kind of come up to the top of these stairs is that while the other corridors were sort of made of this sort of dark brick-like stone, this entire hallway is carved out of entirely black stone, like a continuous piece of black stone. It almost seems like maybe that was the natural material down here that someone carved through. You're not sure.
Where's the light coming from?
The light's coming from you and the cleric, I believe, right now.
Is the cleric glowing, or does he have a torch?
He's got a light spell illuminating around his finger, I believe,
It looks clear.
which is about as bright as a torch.
Okay.
Gives
So
off
does
a
that mean
theater sound.
our vision is out to about like 10 feet or 30 feet?
Yeah, give or take. You can kind of sense that there's a corridor that goes on and on to the north. Where it leads, you're not quite sure from this
Oh, I
distance. And there's a passageway to the south that winds back east, and you can kind of surmise that this maybe heads back towards the octagonal room a bit.
I call out to the dwarves.
Gladhammer. This stone might be interesting to you.
Did you say stone? Alright.
It ain't.
He kind of like moves his way. I mean, because he's kind of like he's appraising the stone still as he
Oh, yeah.
walks.
This whole place is like a dwarven
Yeah.
stone thing, right?
At this point, just
Really?
assume that he's appraising all of the stone everywhere he goes, judging it harshly.
Alright, well,
It's different in here.
So is like the hallway like just like a hewn, like somebody like just chipped away at it? There's no masonry on the walls or anything?
That is correct. Excuse me.
Lorenzo
Sleeping them
speaks
fat clouds.
to Gladhammer. This stone seems less shitty than the rest.
I will be the judge of that. And he goes and goes against the wall. Ooh, not you. Goes against the wall and just puts his fingers against it and observes with his eyeballs.
I want to do this. I go up and I put my hand sort of next to his. And I say, "Can you feel it? The spirit of flame is in these stones."
I don't like spirits of flame. They don't feel good on my skin. Do you mind taking a pace back while I take a look at the stone?
What I mean is, the stone is infused with the magic of fire.
Is it? I don't
Yeah.
know. I have no
Sure.
idea if it is.
Sure it is.
Oh, it is. It
I
fucking is.
spouted lore at 9.
I would love to feel the walls and discern if they are in fact amazing
Oh,
walls.
roll up.
my
Oh,
God.
shit.
They are the most amazing walls I've ever seen in my life. Holy crap, did dwarves forge this?
While this debate is winding on, to the north, Rex, you immediately sense something is off in terms of the smells coming through on this sort of slight breeze that blows through this corridor, and a couple of you swore you heard something, but you're not sure what.
I investigate
north, you said?
slowly,
It sounded
kind
like
of
it,
like
yeah.
meandering
Did you
my
hear
way.
that? I heard something.
I heard that.
Being a little bit low to the ground, just to not to provoke anything unnecessarily.
Okay.
Gladhammer senses his brother's movements.
You see what appears to be like an endless row of pillars forming in a very vast room that seems to be opening up at the end of this hallway, but your dwarf eyes can only see so far.
What does your dwarf nose smell?
Lorenzo.
Yeah.
Lorenzo starts to spout lore. He's like, Gnarl, I need your help, my friend. My sword, I need you to put it under your armpit. This is fire steel, the finest steel a knight could ever hope to own. I need you to heat it up for me.
And the knight presents to you what appears to be this rusted blade that he's asking you to put
It looks
underneath
real
of your
shitty.
armpit. Real shitty. He's asking you put it in one of the most sensitive spots of your lizard body.
My armpit won't help us. But I know what you mean.
I basically do I take the sword? Please.
Yeah, I give the sword
I take
over
the
to
sword,
him. Yep.
and I just start stroking it while looking into his eyes.
Okay. Lorenzo kind of like nods. His helmet nods up and down like yes.
And it starts glowing.
Okay. So are you actually using?
How hot do you want me to get it?
Get it as hot as fire.
This is gross.
What I call get it as hot as fire steel can get.
I take time to do that because I don't want to defy danger.
Okay.
I don't know how long that takes, but
Light steel. I'm gonna call it light steel. It's I'm spouting lore.
Okay. It's gonna take a few minutes to really finally
Cutie
try.
pie, come up here with us.
Okay.
So the short folk are heading down the corridor towards this strange vast hall that lies ahead of you.
Yeah,
I feel weird watching the salamander heat
Do
up
a
the sword.
stroke the blade of the.
It's light steel.
Okay. As you all approach, both sound and scent grow stronger. You can try to discern what the source is if you like. But you get the sense that if you were to step out of this hallway into whatever opening lies out here, you might come face to face with whatever is making these sounds, these odors.
Discerning. Oh god.
Uh-oh.
You still can't get past the odors coming off from the Rust Knight, who's now engaged in some sort of erotic ritual with the fire salamander.
Oh no, they're doing the sword ritual again.
Only the people from Pumpkin Town would consider this erotic.
Gladhammer and Pustus, anything you two would like to be doing?
I am also taking a whiff of the air. Brother, do you smell that foul stench?
So Rex would smell me, right?
He certainly does, and both dwarf folk, you kind of look at your brother and like, do you smell that foul stench? And you both knowingly look back at the salamander and the knight, and like, something is clearly wrong here and has been wrong here since you met this fella in the haunted woods that preceded this lair that you now find yourselves in with him.
Rex, remember the wise words of our father. Never trust a flaming salamander.
Pustus?
what? Is that the salamander?
Yeah. What kind of racist father did you have?
Never
trust a salamander.
The dwarves are looking past you at the characters to the south. You yourself have also felt something a bit unsettling. Is there anything you'd like to do?
Just in my general well-being, I felt unsettled.
Correct. Yeah.
Can you discern, what is it?
Realities.
Realities on that?
Yeah. I mean, it's essentially like, you
examine myself.
Maybe you heard a noise. Maybe you smelled something. You can't put your finger on it. Oh yeah. But something feels off. Something feels off. Yeah.
Oh.
7 plus 1 for wisdom?
Yeah.
That
so
it.
you may ask me one question about your thoughts on this
Can
matter.
I be as general as why do I feel off?
What is good?
For
Okay,
this situation, I'll direct you to the list.
Okay.
Why am I
To the
upset?
list. What is about to happen?
You feel like something is heading for this corridor, and it feels like it's coming from this hall that lies ahead of you. Something or someone, you're not sure.
Okay, so I yell back to Lorenzo, Lorenzo, stop making a stinky! Something's coming this way! Stop making Lorenzo stinky, it's drawing unwanted attention!
All right, Lorenzo hastily
Guardian!
grabs the now flaming sword. He knew it would be set on fire and the glow would not go out anytime soon. He spouted the lore. And then he marches forward with his now flaming sword, and stands in front of everyone with his sword drawn and his shield out in front of him.
Okay. What are the rest of you doing?
Do I have to roll for that? Is that a thing?
What? Just taking a defensive stance in front of your allies?
Yeah, but my sword's on fire.
With the assistance of Gnarl, using his handcrafted fire shaping abilities. Correct? Yeah.
Still, yeah. Well, I'm stroking it until it's hot enough.
Okay.
It's like a special steel.
I will give you. Yeah. As of now, it feels like your blade feels newly forged again. You may have +1 ongoing, which is essentially like a +1 to your attack move with that blade.
Impressive.
For you're not sure how long it will last. We'll say.
Okay.
Salamander, can you do that to my hammer?
Can I roll for the lore that my steel is a special sword steel?
I may.
I mean, as long
yeah.
as you don't have your way with
What lore are you spouting right now?
The lore I was going for is like this is light steel. If you set it ablaze, it will stay on fire for much longer than regular steel. It will burn and pierce through monsters of the woods.
So
Yeah. Okay,
To be-
but that's a normal rusted blade.
it seemed. No, his blade is not mundane.
Go ahead and let's see. Roll.
Let's see if it's true.
I'm very curious.
It is true.
Gladhammer, what are you doing?
I just rolled in the dice tower, bro.
What are you rolling for?
You know.
I thought you said it was a roll off.
So you're trying to dispute his claim.
Well, yeah, I'm disputing his claim.
Oh, right.
What is your counterclaim?
But that's just a normal blade.
That's not
it
here.
looks like.
You're doing nothing but heating metal. Essentially.
Yes, I mean,
yeah.
I can do that.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I linked it, but I can do it with my hands. I don't need a forge.
So while the blade is hot and much like a newly forged blade, much improved over the old rusted thing this knight was calling his weapon, the dwarf is right in that it is nothing more than freshly forged, reshaped. You basically just reshaped old metal. You did make it newer, more sturdy, less likely to break. And while the metal is sort of flaming hot, fresh from the forge, both you and the dwarf know that it would sort of cut like a hot knife through butter. You know, if you were to use it in the very near future. But that sort of enhancement would only last for a short period of time. Probably only on the next attack you make.
I mean, if you want to actually utilize that blade, I would probably move forward.
Yeah, Lorenzo treads forward with his shield drawn.
Meaty boys in front.
Perfect. As you step into the room, you step into a grand, what appears to be kind of feast hall, filled with just numerous columns. And standing to the west of some of those columns are two goblin-like creatures, one more disfigured and ugly than the rest, and they're kind of walking and slinking around the columns towards the corridor, whispering something about the trap's been sprung, and they kind of like look at you and see you all. You step into the room like, ah! And the
Kobold scream.
Yeah, pretty much. The two sort of more armored, shield-looking goblinoid creatures kind of let out a shriek, but this more monstrous-looking, deformed goblin, wielding several different weapons with multiple arms and limbs coming out from the torso, just comes bounding around the column, charging directly towards you and the corridor filled with your allies. What would you like to do? And this, again, There's no initiative. There's no turn order. Think of it like a narrative. Like if you want to like step in and do something, speak up and do so, but just be respectful of each other as we sort of pass the baton around and share the spotlight.
I immediately cast Burning Brand.
Okay, you can
Whoa,
hear.
yeah,
You do not see these creatures, but you definitely
I just
hear
heard it.
monstrous.
I
Sort
heard
of
a scream
weird
in the other room.
shrieks. Yeah, totally.
I just hand out, and a flaming blade just appears.
So
in
what kind of
pure flame.
blade do you conjure?
Right, it's like, okay, do you remember Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves? Morgan Freeman had this big ass fucking great scimitar.
Yep.
That, but
Awesome.
it's just pure flame.
So you do so, and the innate magic that was almost forced out of you during those strange experiments the arcane people were putting you through, they almost come to fruition in some sort of strange utilization of the fire inside of you and the arcane magic that you were exposed to. You can choose 2 of the following tags to add to this great big curved blade: hand, thrown or near, +1 damage, or you can remove the dangerous tag from the weapon altogether. So you can pick 2 of those.
Yeah, +1 damage and remove dangerous tag.
And with this weapon, you may also use your intelligence as your strength or dex in regards to making attacks with it.
Right on.
So it also has the fiery and touch. So basically, you need to make a melee contact with the weapon to do damage. So behind you all in the corridor, there's out of nowhere, almost out of himself. I don't know how the conjuring works, but the salamander is wielding this great fiery blade behind you, illuminating the hallway even more.
It got real bright.
Yeah. What are the rest of you doing?
Lorenzo steps forward almost instinctively with his shield drawn,
Okay.
and his sword, and he windmills his sword, and he cries out, "Ouroboros demands your soul!" And he's like overhands this fucking goblin-like creature with his flaming glowing sword.
Okay. So you're doing basically what we'll classify as hack and slash. You're doing a melee attack. And as noted, with your freshly forged hot blade, you can do your normal 2d6 plus strength and add a bonus +1. Okay. How are you attacking this thing? Because you.
I kind of march forward.
Your swing is beautiful.
Confidently, I march forward with my shield up against my face, and then I kind of do the windmill thing where I go swipe down as a fakie, and I come back up and I swipe down for real.
As your blades, as you sort of fake this creature out, you see an opening exposed between the many arms reaching out from this torso with several different weapons. You spot a perfect opening. You can choose, if you want, to strike him true and still get your shield up defensively, or go for a more vulnerable attack, doing a +1d6 damage on top of your normal damage.
I'm gonna
but
go for the mortal wounds.
knowing that with his many arms, he's going to be able to retaliate.
I have a lot of hit points. I'm going for those mortal wounds.
Okay, feeling sure of your hardiness, roll damage. Your normal damage plus an extra d6 plus the +1 bonus from your hot blade.
All right. So here's my roll.
For your normal damage. That's not your normal damage, right? That's the bonus.
That's the 1d6.
Yeah. Okay. And
Plus
then
1 plus
your paladin damage. Your base damage is d10. So add another d10 plus 1. Well, just a d10. So we'll have 6 plus a d10. So 11 points of damage.
Jesus.
That's a lot of damage. Please describe for us, if you will, as you take this blade, still sort of streaking with the flames of the salamander, as you completely dismember and put down this many-limbed weird mutant goblin in one fell attack.
All right. Lorenzo charges up. Fear not, the Ouroboros will embrace you, and then he slams his blade down right into the skull of this goblin-like creature. And it splits almost in two, not all the way, but almost in two. And it falls down. It's like your embrace reincarnation. The Ouroboros will see you in the afterlife.
As you sort of shout this prayer in this visceral attack you make, you just completely cut through between both of his arms. It manages to get one last swing with this sort of barbed, rusted mace weapon, smacking you against the helmet for 3 points of damage. But it's almost, you know, nothing in the bloody glory that you've just done as you've just cut this thing in half essentially, and drop it dead on the ground.
Nailed it.
But now you're upside down.
You're not upset.
Okay.
What are the rest of you doing? There's a little bit of chaos as the shrieks from the other two goblins, they seem to embolden themselves, and they appear to be charging towards Lorenzo, who's now a bit open from his engagement with the weird mutant goblin.
Everyone can see Lorenzo get hit by this goblin, right?
Well, everyone would only be Gladhammer at this point. You all can hear down the corridor what's happening. Feel free, I mean, like, again, like, movement, all this stuff, like, it's pretty loose within reason, so I just need you to describe and step in on what you're doing in the moment as all this is unfolding.
Charge forward with the dwarves.
Okay.
Rex! Get that dwarvish rage going!
Punch him.
Just smack him in the face.
You gotta punch each other to get the dwarven rage.
You take left side, I'll take the right side.
Pustus, stay behind. Don't die.
No problem.
Oh god.
Are they running away? I chase them down.
They're trying. So standing in this room as you all come in here, it's clearly some kind of like feast hall or grand thing. There's some sort of like dais at the end of the room with like two thrones at the top of it. It's kind of far off. You kind of see this purple, like ratty tapestry hanging behind them to the north. But more importantly are these pillars that go floor to ceiling, and it's there's probably about 30 of them. And the ceilings in here are about 20 feet tall. These things appear to be trying to position strategically with some semblance of intelligence behind the pillars. And they're trying to flee as you all sort of come charging into the room. Not flee, but sort of fall back to a more strategic spot, you could say.
Oh, I look up. Like, how do the pillars join to the ceiling? Or are there more goblins up there?
There's just like smooth stone, and you can't really see. The ceiling's pretty dark, but it's about
I'm pretty bright.
It's about 20 feet up to the ceiling. I mean, it's pretty dim. You'd only really be able to see around
Dude,
you.
flare up. Flare up.
Yeah, I flame on. My sword got super bright.
Flame me up.
20 feet flame.
I will say in this sort of area, you can kind of see floor to ceiling at least a good amount of what's going on up there. The rest of it is kind of dark in terms of the silhouette. So you can't tell other than these two goblins to the west who are on the ground floor. One clearly directly in the line of sight of Gladhammer, Lorenzo, etc. The other one has sort of ducked behind the pillar. You can kind of just see his body as he turns around that corner. Gladhammer, Gnarl, Pustus, Rex, what are you guys doing? As Rex is still, like, imagine he's just cutting through this goblin as you all kind of take your turn.
Lorenzo calls out, Gladhammer, Rex, how does that pillar seem to you?
Rex, what are you doing?
I don't know. What am I doing? Can you guys hear me? I don't fucking know what's happening.
I haven't heard you in a long time.
I know, I've been talking this whole fucking time.
Shit.
I don't know what's happening. I'm getting kind of frustrated, to be quite honest. I don't really want to play right now. I'm
No.
totally over it right now.
Yeah, I haven't heard
Been
you
45 minutes just sitting here.
Wah, wah.
So, I don't know. You guys figure it out. I'm standing here, as Rex would do, watching these small minions that I don't want to partake in. There you go.
Alright.
I'm gonna run around the north of the pillar here, and I'm gonna say surprise, and I'm gonna hit his face against the pillar with my hammer.
Yes.
It doesn't phase me.
Okay. Alright, you wrap around on it, swinging your hammer.
Nah. I don't know what to roll.
So
2d6.
there'd be just hack and slash.
Can I just push that? Oh!
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
shit. The pillar is strong.
So you kind of run just outside of the illumination, and your dwarf eyes are used to seeing in the dark, but it's kind of like you swing around the thing where you think the head's going to be and just connect with the stone pillar, noting that the craftsmanship is probably not so great in here either, but that the goblin has ducked out of the way of your blow and is kind of just like cackling and laughing at you.
Brother! Brother, I need you! Get over here, you lazy asshole!
I'm just watching.
I don't want to look at your junk, Fiddy.
Yeah,
I
my
saw
camera's
that.
like slowly falling off.
Take a look at this. You have no pants on. The webcam goes down.
As you cut around to the left, or right, I cut around to the left, and I try to just bring my giant flaming scimitar on the head of.
You have a
Straight
scimitar?
down, just like the giant one from Prince of Thieves that Morgan Freeman had.
Oh shit!
It's just
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
huge,
yeah,
but it's
yeah,
made of
yeah.
fire,
Okay.
and I just bring it straight down.
All right, so
Hail Mary.
So roll your 2d6 and make sure you use the intelligence bonus instead of the strength.
Oh right. So what is that? Plus just one. Let's see, plus one and.
Dude, that scimitar is
Slash.
badass. Oh
Fuck.
no, not badass.
Fuck.
This goblin, your large flaming blade just goes sailing over the head of it, and it goes and attacks your main sword arm as the swing goes wide, and it hits you.
What?
In retaliation for 3 points of damage.
Oh,
Oh wait, if it attacks me and it does odd numbers of damage, then I do shit.
What do you do?
what?
If I take damage and that damage is odd,
It
the
is.
flames within me come to my aid. I roll a d4
Okay.
and then 1. Okay. Add that many uses to my sword.
Okay.
Take that result, forward it to summoning that sword, or reduce damage by that amount. I'll reduce damage.
Are you
Okay.
making this up?
Nope.
No. It's part of his fighting fire with fire. So the flames
The
between your arm
flames
and the
within me
blade
come
just...
alive.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So
And it helps cauterize the wound.
Okay, so you only take 2 points of damage instead, as this goblin sort of looks wide-eyed at the fire show in front of him, almost like a deer in headlights. Pustis and/or Rex.
There's nobody's taking damage yet, right?
There's been a little bit,
lot.
yeah. Both Gnarl and Pustis and Lorenzo have all taken a little bit of damage.
I took like 1.
Gnarl, how many did you take? Plug?
Oh, I took 4. Sorry.
Yeah,
Oh,
Gnarl's,
okay.
Gnarl's looking the most wounded, though it's hard to see through the flames that wrap around him a
It's
bit.
fiery.
But I feel it deep within my bosom.
Yes.
Oh no, he's hurt.
I cure light wounds on my reptilian friend.
Okay. So roll to cast your spell.
How do I do that in this?
It would just be 2d6 plus wisdom.
Okay, again? Alright.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much how you cast a spell. It's this sort of same for every spell.
Oh.
7.
7.
Oh, you got a
okay.
plus stuff. Yeah,
So much
that's
like
okay.
before, you channel the spell. It's almost like your connection to your god in this deep, sort of strange place is a little bit. The connection's not too great at the
Get
moment.
3G signal in here. Okay.
Yeah. So
I'll take the.
the spell is cast. You can feel the magic channeling through your withered finger that you hold out in front of you. How do you actually cure light wounds?
Like, what does it look like?
Yeah, like what's the process like?
Pretend
Because
he's a
you must
pumpkin.
touch the target.
That was random.
Do you?
He is a pumpkin.
This is a touch spell, whether you caress your finger over the target.
So I'm
Or
gonna.
is it a full-on grab?
I'm gonna imagine I've got like magical castanets, and I'm like, ding 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 like this, and I kind of step each step with more castanets.
Slowly
over-
getting closer and closer to the
and then
salamander.
then I grab the back of his neck and I'm like,
How does Gnarl feel about the castanets coming closer and closer to him?
Well, Gnarl is totally engaged with this goblin in front of
I don't
him.
even see it happen.
Yeah. Yeah, you can
Just-
out of nowhere. Like, are you using the gnarled sort of the focus finger, or are you using your actual?
Yeah, that one's up my nose though.
Wait, that the focus is up your nose.
That's
The
where you
rot-
keep
the
it?
rot- the rotten black one.
Okay.
Oh, no,
yeah.
only for this spell. It
So
goes
it's almost
up
like you're feeling your brain stem somewhere in there with the focus
Yeah.
as you're.
there. I'm massaging my medulla oblongata. with
Okay.
it, trying to get all that good.
So
Curlite wound
while
juice out.
you're flaming on with this goblin in front of you, there's this strange sort of touch at the back of your neck. And
But it feels good.
yeah, it's surprising and it feels good. Roll D8 on the heel.
Oh, shit.
A D8.
Wow, Jimmy rolls that, right?
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's all
So
my
you,
health.
you feel fully recharged.
Hey, Klug, have 2 extra on me.
Alright, so Pustis, however, seeing as how this didn't go off without a hitch, you must choose one sort of thing.
Have sex with your mom or have sex with your dad.
Exactly. So in this situation, you'd basically be drawing the attention of anyone or anything negative nearby, or the -1 penalty from your god, or losing this spell until the next day.
I'll lose the spell.
Okay. Just
Sex
like
with
that,
mom.
just like that, almost as if the flames from the salamander have burned the words of the prayer from your memory. You can't quite recall how to cast this spell. It's just gone.
I thought I did something nice.
It's like, did I? You still have the finger up your nose. You're like, well, it feels like I just cast a spell.
This is usually here for curlite wounds, but I can't remember it. It's not right.
Did everyone go? Can Lorenzo go again?
Rex, I'm looking at you as you notice your ally is fully engaged. You kind of smell through the vast sort of feast hall ahead of you several other odors coming from the northeast.
Ooh.
That's the opposite of where we are. I'm gonna follow my nose.
Okay.
Wait, are they? How? I can't tell how my team's doing. I saw Gnarl got healed.
Yep. Lorenzo
on
just
the side.
fully clashed with this weird mutated goblin. They struck each other, but he clearly got the better of it as he cut one limb off after the other, and sort of like one severed arm just struck him in the helmet. Gladhammer, you saw him run off in the darkness around the pillar, and you heard the clanging of stone that you're kind of becoming familiar with as he's attacking the masonry, and the salamander's fully engaged with flames just sort of spouting out in front of him around this flaming sword he's conjured, seemingly. But you can kind of hear these like noises that seem to be trailing after the sense that you sense coming from the northeast in this feast hall at the moment.
I investigate. They seem like they have things under control.
Okay. As you head a little bit deeper into the room, you can kind of see, maybe not see, you feel like you can visualize the outline up along the ceiling, around the pillars. Several other gangly figures, not unlike the strange creature that Lorenzo has just tangled with, scampering along in the darkness above you.
A smile creases my lips. A
You
fight.
feel-
We're on a fight.
You feel like they're anticipating your approach, and that they're waiting to just drop on an unseeming victim that heads this way. But you kind of sense them with a bit of awareness. What would you like to do?
I hold and I keep an eye on them to make sure
Okay.
that they do not push forward.
Okay, you're not sure exactly where they are, but it feels like they're somewhere here in this area along the ceiling.
So I hold and I still keep an eye out for them.
Okay, all right. You feel like you're at an advantageous position. Lorenzo, anyone else in that area? Gladhammer, what would you like to do?
Lorenzo would love to do a thing. So he once again tempts the face. He does a somersault forward, and then pops up with his blade. He's been told this whole time that his blade is light steel, and that if it's heated up, it will become on flames, and it will take much longer for it to not be on fire, but he's been lied to this whole time.
Okay.
And he just wants to do a somersault and then just slash at this thing in front of him.
So many things. Yeah. Pick one of those things.
He's gonna do the somersault slash.
Okay. All right. Roll to engage with another hack and slash that Gnarl is engaged with as you kind of wrap around above this thing.
The old 2D.
Yep.
Yeah, Goblin just got finished stabbing me.
Ooh, okay. So.
Do I get a plus to that?
You do not. No.
No,
You're
okay.
the metal of your blade has cooled down. While it's no longer rusted and brittle, it does swing much like a normal sword would.
Okay, I accept that. Lorenzo is not surprised. He's been lied to this whole time.
Actually, you weren't lied to. I told you the damn truth from the beginning.
So.
There's no time for that.
So yeah, you connect with this thing. You may roll damage, but as you strike it, you notice that it's still kind of recoiling and stepping back from the flames that just burst out in front of the salamander, and it kind of, as you strike it, it kind of sees you and it's turning its own blade to attack you and retaliate. But go ahead and roll damage.
How do I roll damage on this bad boy?
So your base damage is D10 plus 1.
Okay, I can do that. 5.
5 points of damage. So the goblin, much like the last one you engaged, you slice across its chest and it lets out like a gurgling scream, but not before it slashes you across your sword arm for 5 points of damage in return.
All right, Lorenzo's arm gets hit. It gets clipped real hard, and part of his arm slashes through, and part of his radius just explodes out. Bits of bone explode out of his arm. He's still got one part of his arm intact. His ulna is still intact, but he's been sliced real hard.
Okay.
But his radius is gone.
His radius is gone.
Gladhammer, you're still kind of got like the whole bats and the bees sort of sensation as you struck this very tall stone column, and you hear this like little giggle shriek from the goblin that dodged your attack, and it looks like it's going to take advantage of Lorenzo, who has just been wounded by his ally and seems to have his back to the goblin in front of you. What would you like to do?
Oh, that won't do. So he just swung this way, so he's gonna come across and just like overhead down smash right across that poor helpless little goblin.
He's not poor, he's rich. He's a rich.
And I'm sure he gets like a ton of extra bonuses because he's hitting him in the back.
Yeah, by a ton you mean +1, sure.
Oh yes.
That's not bad at all.
Very good, very good. Is that just 2d6 for hack and slash?
Yeah, plus your strength and whatever the +1 would bring it to.
Okay, so add 2 to that plus...
Oof.
Yeah, so add 2 to that, so that's 11.
Okay, so
that's pretty good.
You pounce on this thing with
But I also have messy and forceful modifiers and hooks and spikes on my
What the fuck?
hammer, which gives me +1 damage.
That's your signature weapon.
Well, yes, that is my signature weapon.
Okay. Well,
I want to splatter his entire back.
The first question I would ask is, do you want to swing wildly at this thing? Similar to what Lorenzo had as an option. When you roll a 10+, you can choose to expose yourself, but do a lot of, a plus d6 extra damage as well.
Well, yes, of course, I expose myself.
Okay.
Like your dick comes
I
out?
pull my pants down.
Okay.
He's literally exposing himself.
Literally. Okay. So go ahead and roll all of your damages, which would be...
And describe your exposure.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's 1d10, and then what else is it?
Well, you said your weapon you have +1?
Yeah, so add 1 to whatever I just rolled.
Yeah, so 9 and then a d6 if you're swinging wildly into this thing.
Okay, yeah, I'll swing.
Oh.
Okay. And what were the tag? You've got forceful and messy?
Yes. I want to completely like shatter his lower spine.
Okay.
The lower spine.
Okay. You remove your hammer from the pillar and like you just like wind up with your spiked fancy hammer and you just swing right into the fucking chest of this thing, knocking him in this arc that just sends him splattering into the air. This beautiful, beautiful just velocity send him directly against the wall to the south. Splattering quite dead against it, and as his armor, as his shield, as his sword all smack against this thing, there's a hollow sound that kind of rings out as he smacks against the alleged stone wall, and the corpse drops onto the ground.
Brother, I think there's a hollow spot in the wall. I need you over here.
Some of the blood splatters against Lorenzo, and he kind of like shakes it off, but like it drips down off of his arm.
Before you move, Gladhammer, and as you're kind of admiring the perfect swing, someone who just like swung a golf club and drove it 400 yards. It's so fucking beautiful. But boy, did you swing with everything you got, leaving your back wide open.
Absolutely.
Rex, you see one of the two sort of mutated figures, way too many arms to fit a normal creature, almost sort of dig in against the pillar, like as if it was anticipating, push off, and vault towards your half-brother, kind of taking this sort of trajectory. You've been watching and anticipating, like sort of smelling and seeing these silhouettes. You can kind of see it sort of trailing down in the air. It's almost like it's happening in slow motion as your nose is just following the wretched smell, overpowering even the rotted flesh of this strange knight you've been traveling with. What would you like to do?
I want to try and tackle it out of midair with my fucking bare hands.
Just fucking like
with your bare hands.
Putting your hands into the dangling bear paws around your neck and just fucking charging it.
Yeah, just think of like bears playing football. That's what I'm doing.
Okay.
Like the biggest fucking bear you've ever seen.
So I would like to take a different page here. So you've been watching these things, and you see it just going for your very, very exposed half brother, Gladhammer here. You can make the defend move to try to intercept it. So you would roll 2d6 plus your Constitution, and depending on how well you nail this thing, and I'm going to give you a +1 bonus since you've been just watching these fuckers. We'll see what you do. So go ahead, 2d6 plus con plus a bonus 1.
Oh shit.
So the way defend works, as I kind of described before, is like you basically lock onto a thing. And since in this case the thing is one of these crazy mutant goblins who is flying through the air, and you've just been watching this fucking thing, you may choose. You basically have what we call three hold charges against this target. If you ever disengage from this target, you would lose them. But while you have these 3 charges, you may spend any of those points, up to all of them, 1-to-1 with any of these options. You can redirect the attack from the thing it was going for to you. You can have the damage of the attack, or the damage. You can open that thing up to be exposed, like basically open it up for anyone to hit it, have it a +1 to hit it, basically leaving them open. Or you can deal damage to the attacker equal to your level.
Well, I want to deal damage, but I also don't want to hit.
Gladhammer?
Right?
So again, you can pick 3 things. So you can redirect it to yourself, you can deal damage to it in the attack, and you can have the damage it does to you, or expose it, making it easier for your allies to hit.
Okay, so I'm going to deal damage.
Okay.
I want to redirect its attack, is that right?
Yep. Alright.
And then I have to pick another one?
Yep.
Half it.
Have the damage
Yeah, there you go.
expose it.
Okay. So
yeah.
tell us how you intercept this fucking thing as you kind of just fly at it.
Well, his trajectory is jumping straight in the air.
Yep.
I saw him, and I fucking just booked like it's like, seriously like a football player.
Yeah,
and just jumped in midair from like what felt like 30 yards away.
All right.
And I
so
wanted to tackle him into the pillar behind. I can't mark.
okay. Okay.
Here.
All right. So
Nice.
as you intercept this thing, it kind of beats on you with both of its weapons, but your barbaric rage is just so strong that you feel nothing. Like you take no damage whatsoever. It didn't
Whoa.
damage, and then you halved it. What are your Herculean appetites?
Conquering
Yeah.
and mortal pleasure.
Rape
Okay.
it.
All right. Well, I'll say for this that didn't really come into play. The damage that you do, since most of your focus is on like this defensive maneuver, the
I feel
damage
like
you
I'm
do.
conquering a mutant right
Ooh,
now.
okay. Well,
Do
hold that thought. Hold that thought. So your level's only 1, so you do 1 point of damage initially as you kind of just catch it with your claws and just drive it, and you're flying with this thing towards the pillar right now. And your barbaric rage takes over. I will allow you to basically convert this into like an attack of opportunity of sorts. So you're charging this thing into the pillar. Your bear claws have sort of hooked into it, and you're flying towards the pillar right now. Go ahead and, since this is a Herculean appetite sort of spin on the follow-up here, you want to roll a d8 and a d6.
What would Pustis do?
Alright, so I'll roll a d6 first.
Okay. Ooh, yeah. That's good and bad potentially. Roll the d8.
I think this is
He's gonna roll an 8.
Is that d8?
Oh!
All right, so because the 6 is higher than the 8, your Herculean appetite, like your barbaric rage, essentially overpowers you. Your lust, whatever it is in this case, wanting to conquest this strange mutant beast you've just encountered. It overtakes you. You slam into the wall against this fucking thing. Go ahead and roll damage for one, like your core base damage.
What is that?
For Barbarian, I think it's, let me double check.
Oh, it's
D10 plus 1.
Here's d10. Yeah.
Okay. Woo!
Nice.
Shit, son!
Wow.
Dude.
All right. So you hear a crunching sound as both you and this goblin slam against the pillar, but you're just blinded by the bloodlust inside of you, and you slam your head into this pillar, your arms kind of going limp, and both you and the goblin drop down against the base of the pillar. You're okay, but you're prone and kind of dazed. And as you hit the ground and look back towards the east where you were watching, you see several other of these mutant figures kind of drop down off the ceiling and charge towards you. Do we wanna kind of cliffhang there?
Yeah, I gotta.
Yeah, getting kind of late.
You could do the old
Mutants from the ceiling.
Mutants from the ceiling.
Cool.
All right, cool.
Fun time.
Pustis from the pumpkin.
Nice.
Cool. All right, we'll pick up there.
Awesome.
So,
All right, guys.
Alright.
Awesome times.
GG, gentlemen.
Hey.
Yes.
Good job.
Oh,
We didn't
shit.
die.
Disconnect.